Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Goedenavond, mensen. Welcome in this to the grand final. Of this eDivisie finals. I'm here with the great mind, a great man, the mastermind, I'd say, behind Team Gullit, of all people, Renzo Umrausing.
What an introduction! Thank you very much. Yes, we're here today for the grand finale of the KPN eDivisie finals. It is going to be a very unique one because, well, if you look behind me, I've expressed some of my creativity today, and I've painted a few beautiful pieces. We are at the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. It's incredible, as you can see right here. We are one of the pretty much iconic places in Amsterdam, and we are actually playing an esports tournament right here, right now.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for a night of unforgettable moments in this dazzling location. What a privilege of doing this in the majestic Rijksmuseum, and also the players are going to play here. So it's not just us standing in this fancy, beautiful environment. The players as well, they will be playing here, Enzo.
I mean, it suits you well, Hakim, to be honest, to be in an environment like this.
We're both in a jacket. We have a nice jacket on.
Yeah, but I also expect you to collect paintings as well. So
collect paintings?
Yeah,
oh,
you are one of those guys. But
right.
Anyway.
Yeah, maybe move from that one.
Yeah. We're here, for the KPN eDivisie finals, and what a lineup do we have in store of us? And especially if you saw last year, you guys just saw a couple of clips. The eDivisie finals are always something special, Hakim.
Exactly. Also, just to maybe add on to that, I have two legends with me. Myself, Mr. Dori or Hakim, next to me Renzo Umrausing, but we have one person in the back, a little bit of a surprise maybe, but it's the main man. When we talk EAFC, it's the main man when it comes to commentary, right?
Yeah, the best in the game.
I don't know anybody better right now.
Literally.
It's Brandon Smith, of course. He will be joining us a little bit later, but first, let us to take you through this first couple of games. We also have some quarterfinals that already been played, and we have some highlights of that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, also us, we will be going over the semi-finals, and this is where we're going to play for Renzo.
Yeah, so pretty much everyone is already in the quarterfinals. Obviously, those have been played before, and as you can see, the top 4 will qualify for that prestigious eChampions League. And what a kind of matchups do we have after that? Obviously, the World Championship spots come to play, but first of all, FC Utrecht versus FC Twente are going to compete for that prestigious eChampions League and possibly winning the entire eDivisie. Almere City versus Willem II, AZ versus Feyenoord, and last but definitely not least, Ajax versus Heracles Almelo. And like I said, that prestigious eChampions League spot, Hakim, we know how valuable it is, especially for those players, especially for some people watching at home who may have been already qualified or not, and want to know who those opponents are going to be.
I think it's interesting, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I think it's going to be interesting because we see a few players that have been already in this stage. They have already reached the semi-finals in previous years, and we go over that a little bit later. And they are back in the quarterfinals trying to claim that semi-final once again. Now, it's not just for the players that are things up for grabs. There was money. We didn't even talk about the money. We talked about the Champions League, eChampions League, so to say, and of course the World Championship spot. But there's also something for the people at home.
What is it?
Look at this. We have it in screen. So there are some FC Pro League lives. If they win one match at the KPN eDivisie finals, we already get a +1. And if they finish at the top 4, they will get a +1 as well. So
which pretty much means just win your quarterfinal.
Yeah, win your quarterfinal, you have a +2 upgrade. So look, Van den Bomen, great midfielder, 92 rated, center mid. We know already because he was last year as well one of the picked players, right?
Yeah, he was one of the FC Pro Live items, but this one is going far beyond those statistics, unfortunately, last year for Levy. But this is incredible. Oh no, actually it was PH Sins. It was PH Sins last year. He got fully upgraded. Anyways, incredible cards, Brian Limbombe.
Yeah, Belgian one.
Yeah, I mean, this one is for you, right?
I'll have to wrap this one. Sadly, we didn't see a Moroccan guy, but we'll keep it at Belgian then. We saw some Dutch people already. So.
Yeah, but 92 Limbombe, he has that finesse plus, the technical plus. I think a lot of people at home might have completed this one because that one looks incredible. And let's not forget, this is an iconic defender in the Dutch national team as well. Like, he's becoming a bit older, but this guy definitely, Martins Indy, has an okay card, but I don't think many will.
Imagine that +2 on top of this, already 84 pace and 80 dribbling for a defender. Like, we don't even talk about the defensive.
90 plus pace nowadays, Hakim. It's already starting to get me.
He has to catch that Mbappe soon, right?
Yeah, especially Mbappe. And we just showed my favorite player, at least, Sebastian Haller, but let's see if he will be actually upgraded, because It's Utrecht versus a very tough opponent that he has in store for him, Brent Weerink.
It was one of the nice cards of FC Utrecht. And if we're talking about nice cards and nice settings, then what is better than this place where we're standing right here? I've done a lot of esports tournaments already, but this setting I've never seen in my life.
No, I mean, how can you argue that you've ever played in a museum, a match of EAFC 25? I mean, yeah, it's just iconic.
And just in front of Rembrandt's finest, maybe even with the Nachtwacht, or the Night Watch, as they say it in English. So
do they really call it the Night Watch?
The Night Watch, yeah, that's the official name in English. I know you're Dutch, I know you're speaking English, so it's a Nachtwacht for you, but...
It's a Nachtwacht, we just call it the Nachtwacht, yeah.
So it's quite iconic, and I think the players themselves, they are feeling a little bit more stress maybe than sitting in the studio. If you have to sit in this setting, it's a bit different. I think for them as well, it's a little bit of adapting towards it.
It kind of depends, I guess, on what experience you have with you as well. Obviously, if you played a couple of times in the eDivisie finals, it probably doesn't even really matter that you're playing in a museum. But let's be honest, if when you walk up that stage and you're just surrounded by this environment, it does add a little bit of that extra, you know, to your body. But yeah, let's see who will be actually doing that, because obviously the quarterfinals have already been played, Hakeem, so we'll only see 4 people here today.
Exactly, we will see 4 people here live on stage, but we will go over the matches that were played in the quarterfinals,
yes.
And we will go over them, I think, pretty soon. So we'll just have to wait when we get there. But quarterfinals are loading.
Of course, they will come up for you. But yeah, like I said, there's only 4 people actually that made it here. So for those 4, it's very special. Quarterfinals are going to be the first matches that we're actually going to take a look at. It will be a bit different than what you're used to. Like I said, they will be shown to you guys, but it's already kind of a summary of whatever happened there. It's going to be an extended highlight version, so don't worry about it. You'll see everything. You won't miss anything, but it's already being played. So
I've got a nice call in my ear.
You've got a gut feeling, right?
We've got the brackets once again just to go into the quarterfinals. So guys, at home, those that are in the chat, drop us from where you're watching this finals here at the KPN eDivisie finals. You already took it the first time, so I'll go for a second. We have FC Utrecht with Max Koelemij against FC Twente with Brent Weerink.
Yes.
Brent already made it into, the last 3 semi-finals, so he's trying to extend that one. It's
exactly.
Going to be his 4th one if he makes it.
On his streak.
Almere City, that is Gio Bundy. Next to him, Willem II. That's Luc, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so Luc Weideveld. It's going to be his first shot actually at the semi-final. I think last time he got eliminated in the playoffs, but might not be completely sure on that one. Anyways, Luc Weideveld, very, very prestigious talent as well. Like very prolific player that, can surprise anyone at any time.
He showed himself during the tournament itself, so during the live broadcasts that were being done towards this event, obviously, he did show himself, even won a period championship.
Yes.
So he did put himself out there. And then eventually from there, if you qualify through the periodic champions, because maybe we'll have to explain a little bit how the system worked of this eDivisie and how the players got here. Maybe that's an interesting one.
It's a good idea, because what happened is we played already the regular season for, pretty much, it lasted like 2 or 3 months. Every week or so, there were 2 matches being played, and you pretty much played everyone in the regular season. But what also was happening is that every 4 match days or so, you have this periodic title. So arguably you could collect 12 points, sometimes even 15 points during that period. And if you manage to do so, if you won the period title in the end, you did qualify for the eDivisie finals. So what did Brent do? Yeah,
I have the 4 periods plus the overall ranking here. So in the first period, it was actually Max Koelemij with FC Utrecht who qualified. So he went 4 wins and 1 draw. So quite a good, I'd say, setting to start your tournament with.
First seed of the tournament as well.
Exactly. Then in the second period, so the next 5 games, it was actually Brent Weerink, so FC Twente, who won it with 3 wins as well and 1 draw.
Yep.
And quite interesting for Brent afterwards, I did see that he knew he was qualified to this final, so he knew it was going to take a little bit easier. And even the last couple of games, he lost pretty big, but we will come back to that a little bit later, maybe. Then in the third period, it was Willem II taking that one, and eventually Almere City. And then interesting, Renzo, but you'll know more about that than me. We take a few from the rankings, so the next people in ranking that didn't qualify to the periodic champions are also qualified to this finals. Mm-hmm. And then there is a playoff spot as well that can be won with another tournament. So there were quite a few ways to get in here. And I think for now, it doesn't really matter how you got here. You are here already in the quarterfinal. And now we can show how they got into the semi-final as well.
Exactly. So let's take a look at that quarterfinal. And it's going to be First of all, the #1 seed, FC Utrecht Max Kulemai, who's taking on Brent Weerink, the last seeded player, because he came 14th in the regular season, but he's actually going to be scoring the 1-0 in the 6th minute already. And this was kind of, I was attending here, and this was kind of a shock as well, because everybody thought Max was gonna do this. However, ooh.
I haven't seen the gameplay yet, so you'll have to excuse me for that, but that's a really nice 2-0, and I see two things from Brent in this case. He is so clinical when he comes in front of goal, because it's 3-0 already here. So it does show Max was stressing maybe a little bit, was giving too many balls away, and it's already 3-0, and then it's hard, of course, to come back from that. But
exactly.
here we see Max now with Ronaldo, and he does finish that.
Yeah, and the thing was in this game as well, like this is the 29th minute only, and you know that Max is capable of making this comeback. However, he already, before he scored that goal, missed a big chance, and we all were thinking, is Max really going to lose this? However, what does happen? Bit fortunate there maybe with R9, does get the low driven in. 2-3. All to play for, because we're playing 9-minute halves, Hakim. Yes. You have plenty of time to come back.
Just before the stroke of halftime, we have Ginola playing it to Son, and we know Son is dangerous on that right-hand foot, but does find Ronaldo, and once again Ronaldo, a little bit fortunate here, falls back to one of the players of FC Twente, and he doesn't miss. He just doesn't miss.
He doesn't miss, and that was quite fortunate. Just before halftime, a very, very tough one for Max to concede. However, he doesn't let go that easy. 50th minute, 4-3 still up into the favors of FC Twente, who are looking to build up the attack here. 72nd minute already. Great player lock there, breaking through down the wing with Vinicius. Vinicius is just going to go all the way.
It was a nice move with using Ronaldo as a player lock, a little bit of a bait to just play it to Vinicius on the left-hand side, and it did open up a little bit of space, but Max is not done just yet, right, Lorenzo?
Are we already going to lose that first seed, actually? Well, maybe we're not. The 88th minute.
3 minutes left also. You know, you lose one ball and then everything can change.
I mean, we have seen EAFC 25 before, but unfortunately, Max does fall to Brent Weerink, the #1 seeded player. Gets knocked out straight away in the quarterfinals by the lowest seeded player. He won the period title. #2 it was, but he was only 14th in the regular season, Hakim.
Yeah, and Max winning that first one was quite impressive. Now, the second match we had was Almere City against Willem II. So Luc, as you said, a great talent, and a little bit similar, you know, the guys in red, they have the fortune, I think. This is something we will have to look forward in these semi-finals. The red shirts.
Oh no.
Oh no, here again.
And it is a mistake as well at the back, which, oh my, yeah, let's just not talk about that one. You can see Gio as well, like nodding his head, but actually Luc was steamrolling through the competition as well. At the last ditch, he kind of fell back a little bit, trying to get this comeback, but yeah, it's not looking like it. It's 2-1 now, 82nd minute. Is he going to be doing it? Well, here does come a chance. And
this reminded me a little bit of Wout Weghorst.
I expected a goal there because we just only saw goals, and I was like confused there for a second, but it actually is going to be Gio Bundy who's going to seal this deal. 3-1 to Almere City. You can see the emotion, and that does mean a spot in the semis and getting that eChampions League spot. Gio Bundy and both Brent Weerink, we welcome you to the eChampions League. So and the semi-finals.
They're already in the semi-finals, and you have to think for both of these, so for Brent and for Gio, there is still a World Cup spot on the line, right?
Yeah, one of those, because actually, as you saw the bracket there, that left side of the bracket has already concluded, as you see, we just showed you, and it's going to Brent or Gio Bundy qualifying for the World Championship. I did not expect that, mister.
eChampions League for both of them. So this is the second time for Gio, I believe it was, because he did qualify for the eChampions League already. For those watching at home, you might have seen that already. Gio Bundy is a known name. He was at PEC Zwolle before. Before that, even Excelsior Rotterdam, right? So he's been moving clubs, but he does find his spot once again with Almere City. And I think for him, it's also his third semi-final in a row. Consecutive semi-final, and for Brent it's his fourth one.
Hakim, you're blowing away. You're blowing me away with those stats.
I have a better stat for you. So Brent Weerink, this is his fourth semi-final that he's going to play, right?
Yeah.
The last 3 semi-finals, he lost all 3 of them to Levi de Weert. So he has to be happy that Levi was on the other side of the bracket. So he was like, finally, my Gegner is out. I can go to the final this time.
This is my time. Well, he actually could be going all the way through to the final, because Brent versus Gio, I mean, I can't predict that one, honestly. And it showed from the regular season as well. I think Almere City came in at the 6th spot or something like that, barely getting in on the last match day as well. And yeah, Brent, we've talked about it before. Like, he won the period title, and after that, it was just, he just let go. He didn't care. He lost so many games. He even said to me backstage earlier on the day, he said, I can't play without pressure. I need pressure. So I said to him, well, you're going to get pressure today, so you better show up. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very, very exciting semi-final. Gio Bundy versus Brent Weerink. What's going to happen on the right side of the bracket, Hakim?
All right, there we go. It's we have also the other quarterfinals lined up for you already. It's going to be AZ Alkmaar, who's going to take on Feyenoord. AZ Alkmaar is Chris de Boer, also a well-known player for you, I assume.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times or so. But
on the other hand, we have Talla, who's also quite known in the scene already.
Yeah, and also I know him very well, being one of the national players of I Oranje. However, 18th minute, AZ Alkmaar's Chris de Boer 2-0 up. And this is going to be a lot of goals in this one. I can predict that before the game, but also if we're looking at it, 2-1 already, 36th minute, and we've got a game on our hands. Hakim, talk me through too. What is AZ Alkmaar going to do all game long?
So, I think it's just going to be scoring goals, right? A nice through ball right here. Ronaldo on the left-hand foot, crosses it across, and makes it 3-1. Easy as you like, Renzo.
And just before halftime, again, we've seen 3 goals already in every semi-final. There was a goal just before halftime, and that's that, well, that bit of confidence that can give you, obviously, heading into that second half. 4-1 to AZ Alkmaar. We're about to welcome Champions League. Chris de Boer there. However,
there you go. Finesse.
Holla.
As Brandon would say, on the finesse.
I'm not going to try that one. I'll leave that to him.
He can do it later on because he does join the show later on.
Yeah, a bit fortunate there. However, it's a nightmare for Talla if you are on the defending end. However, a great finish from Chris de Boer near post Trivella. 5-2 up, 82nd minute. Yeah, we're likely to see Chris extending his lead here with Henry. Great speed boost and such a composed chip. Such a composed chip. You like some salt with those?
I do like a chip, but I like them from far away. Quagliarella kind of style for the older people. But yeah, I love some good chips.
It's not that final score, however. It is going to be Talla, who might be, well, still getting one back. Maicon here, great cross actually. Fantastic goal by Talla. But obviously he does realize, as you can see here, that it's a little bit too late to make something of this game. And unfortunately, Talla does fall. However, still a goal. Yeah, it doesn't end. Like I said, goal scoring festival here. 7-3 to Chris de Boer, who we are going to welcome to the eChampions League stage and the semi-finals, obviously, here at the Rijksmuseum.
It's very interesting to see Chris de Boer having a little bit of his breakthrough season for him as well, right? Because he did play really well during the FC Pro, I think it was Open.
Well, it was more the qualifier.
Yeah, the qualifier. He did pretty well, no?
Yeah, we had, obviously, for the people that don't know, there's 3 qualifications during the season. He won one of them, the European West qualifier. So yeah, he's had a stellar season thus far, especially compared to last season, where he fell in the quarterfinals together with Dani Visser in the eDivisie finals. And apart from that, didn't really get to show himself. Right now he's here. He's arrived. eChampions League, semi-final, won the European West qualifier.
He qualified for the eChampions League so he can show himself to the international stage as well. Try to show himself on that big stage because it's massive, the eChampions League, right? Yeah, I think most of these people are dreaming of having that opportunity.
Of course, I never got to play it myself, unfortunately. I wasn't good enough back then, but yeah, it's the most prestigious stage, and we're going to actually take a look who's going to be our 4th semi-finalist, actually, and also getting that last eChampions League ticket. Let's take a look at Ajax versus Heracles Almelo, and we're just going to fly you through there. I
assume there's going to be goals in this one as well. Knowing Colin, knowing Levi, and I see Chardo behind him, and Nick, so the coaches are ready as well, and it's Ajax at the start, once again. Great through ball, a little bit of forge. Oh, all I've been seeing is these goals with red shirts. So there has to be something, right? These red shirts, and I'm going to say later in this tournament as well, whoever's going to pick that red shirt might be going to the final.
That's an odd take, Hakim, but I will keep note of that. However, it's going to be 2-0 here to Levi de Weert. Obviously already with that incredible FC Pro Open performance. Sealed himself a World Championship ticket, so might have a little bit less pressure than Colin here. As we do see him winning a little bit of a fortunate battle there. And it is 3-0 already, Hakim. Not looking good for the Heracles Almelo fans right here.
On the other side, during the regular season, it did end up in a 3-3 overall draw in this game, but Levi is just powering through, trying to find Ronaldo right here. Nice croqueta, going around the goalkeeper, tight angle, but does fit perfectly next to the defender who was on the line. And Colin is, I think he knows already what he's feeling, but he doesn't stop. He just tries to attack once again. Puteas with I think it was Puteas, with a nice trivela outside.
We see a comeback?
Maybe.
Fortunately, we do not.
89th
minute, Colin Deckers already knew at some point that it was just not enough today.
This does mean something interesting for Chris as well, because as Levi already qualified for the World Championship, it does mean that Chris de Boer also gets a ticket to that World Championship.
Yeah, we might have to explain that a little bit further, because as you saw there, where we showed the prize money, the Champions League and the World Championship tickets, there was actually 2 tickets up for grabs today. However, Levi already qualified for the World Championship. So what happened is that if he made the semi-final, one of those could potentially go on to the other. However, Max Kulemai lost, and he was the highest seed.
So Max would have gotten it then?
Max would have gotten it if he went through and almost secured himself of that. However, now Chris went through as the 2nd seed. Levi's already through, so it doesn't matter who wins that one.
Wow.
It's going to get shifted to Chris. So Chris qualified to the World
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Still has to play the semi-final, still officially would have to play for that spot. However, thank you Levi de Weert from Chris de Boer, because he already secured himself that spot by just winning his own game as well.
So, maybe go to the semi-finals, right? We have Brent Weerink from FC Twente and Almere City's Gio Bundy. Both, like we said, already played plenty of semi-finals. On the other hand, we have AZ Alkmaar with Chris de Boer in his first semi-final. And then next to him, or his opposing him, we be Levi de Weert. I wasn't going to say semi-finals for him. We have to talk about finals and championships, because I think he already won 3. One with Vitesse and 2 with Ajax.
2?
2 already?
2.
We'll have to ask him. Maybe if we can get a little interview with him.
No, just 2. He just won 2, because one time with Ajax they lost against Vitesse.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So yeah, I was just having to rethink that.
You couldn't put that one in the pocket as well, right?
No, sorry, I can't count all the trophies anymore. No, just kidding.
It's a bit too big already.
Yeah, 100%. So what did those results actually mean for the players that we just reviewed?
Exactly, the SBCs.
What does that mean for the people at home? Let's take a look. Well, Sebastian Haller
is not going to get that upgrade.
Unfortunately not. Utrecht did get knocked out. I would have loved to have this one upgraded, by the way. I did it myself.
A big striker, tall, quite fast. You can do something with him, right?
Yeah, but
you
like
can play with
Sebastian Haller, like vintage Haller, bro. However, Branko van den Bomen does get that +2. We are unfortunately not able to show you guys what the stats will be, so please in the chat just guess what pace is going to be there for Branko van den Bomen. Might be entering that Gullit gang, next level Gullit gang, with some 90 pluses in there. However, Limbombe, Hakim.
Sadly didn't make it.
The Belgian.
I mean, his 90 rated car is still pretty good, right? You can still play with him. If you like, if you have a Belgian team, maybe if you have some eDivisie players,
just don't listen to Hakim, guys. don't play Limbombe right now. No, obviously for fun reasons. However, Martins Indy, well, is he going to be as good as Virgil van Dijk?
Better.
He's
gonna be better. Trust me on this one. I'm telling you right now, Martins Indy is gonna be the best centre back you will see in this game.
Wow. Okay, bold prediction here. I do not know yet what those statistics will be concluding like, but it does look like a good card, to be honest. The playstyles are perfect as well. And thank you very much, Chris de Boer, for the people at home for bringing that one in.
I do see the chat right here. It's popping up, and we see you guys back home. Let us know where you're watching this stream from, because we do want to know who you're repping right here in these semi-finals and who's going to win this whole tournament, because don't forget, there is still a tournament win on the line. We were talking about eChampions League, World Championships, but it's about today as well, trying to win this prestigious, KPN eDivisie final.
Well, of course, but let's be honest. I think if we can ask Levi at some point, would he trade in 2 of his previous titles to just win this one at the Rijksmuseum? I think he might would.
Maybe.
Honestly. Yeah, because this one, I think, is the most anticipated one right now. And as we've discussed internally as well, but let's be honest, the eDivisie, KPN eDivisie finals right now is actually probably the toughest one that we've seen in terms of quality of players. Like, they are so well trained. Every single one of them works so hard right now. The level that the Dutch esports scene is at right now, you can't get away with just a simple win anymore.
I do see people coming from all over the world. I've seen Alaska, I've seen the USA, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Belgium. So I see some Belgian people in there as well. That's really nice.
Nigeria. I mean, come on, spam those flags. I just want to see.
We want to see some. We want to see some flags.
Yeah. Is there anyone from Suriname?
That would be cool.
That would be nice. That would be nice.
So we're waiting for the players to get ready because people have been asking to have some gameplay, to see the games. We had the highlights of the quarterfinals, but the semi-finals will be played live right here, and there will be some commentary over it by you, Renzo, and myself. And then for the next games, we will also have, of course, the big man, Brandon Smith.
I mean, yeah, like I feel the players might need like just about 5 minutes or so. I see them running around. Obviously, you guys can't see that, but there is like a huge stage here. And hopefully we'll get some shots of that later on. However, we do have to make sure everyone's prepared. And obviously hosting this at a museum, at a prestigious scenery like this, it does come with a little bit of timing and some delays sometimes.
So technicalities, like how can you put like wires for lightning, for music, for sound, for internet, everything in a museum? Like it took them a lot of work to set this up, and I do think it's going to be lovely whenever you guys are going to see the stage where the players are going to play on. I think a lot of people will say like, next year I want to be at the KPN eDivisie and do it.
However, let's. I just want to know, what do you think is going to be displayed all of a sudden in a museum like this? Do you want to know? Do you want to find out?
Well, if they want to find out.
I mean, let's take a look. Why not? Let's see what the Rijksmuseum actually has to offer. Let's show it up right here. Look. I mean, yeah, I mean, you are an art collector, right? So you should know who painted this.
I collect football shirts, so.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Who painted this?
Yeah, it's great paintings, of course, that are being broadcasted and shown here for everybody to watch. It's, yeah, and at the same time, we're having Brandon, of course, join us. So, Brandon, people have been asking for you non-stop in the chat. Like, they've been asking, where is Brandon? Where are the regular guys? We missed them. We want to see Brandon again. So, you're here finally.
I mean, you've been doing a brilliant job. I'll be honest. I don't really know where we are. I'm not from the Netherlands, but I know this place is full of history, and I've been taking in some of the artwork that is around me as we look ahead of what is to come today. I mean, look, 4 eChampions League spots have already been given out for 4 players. Their season has already changed in a matter of moments, Hakeem, and now we're looking ahead to what is the biggest ticket of all, the World Championships. This is a season-defining moment. This is a moment that can really change so much for you as a pro player.
We've seen it before. Players that weren't really known back in the days, and they came to one tournament, had their breakthrough tournament, went to the World Cup. I won't say won the whole thing, but in the end, they still were there at the World Championship, took that knowledge, went in again next year, and they grew their careers.
And the one thing that happens this year in the eDivisie as well is that the players, there's not 2 players per team. Last year we were looking at a top 4 of PH, Levi David, Manu Bachore, and of course Emre Yilmaz. Now there's 4 individual players. So there's players that are playing in the eChampions League in a few weeks' time that have never been there before, and that's the beauty that this league has had. And tomorrow La Liga will have. I think next week we're going to be in virtual Bundesliga. It's just leagues continuously at the moment, so it's a really exciting time to be involved in the space. We can see you at home in the chat as well. I know you've been interacting with Renzo and Hakeem as well. Are we jumping in to our first game?
We're almost ready to go, right?
Hopefully we are. I mean, this is the big one. Let's have a look at FC Twente then, first and foremost, with their pro player in Brent Weerink. This is his highlights from earlier.
Yeah, he lost quite big here against, it was in this case, Colin, and then eventually even won also big. Here it's going to be 4-11 against RKC Waalwijk. If there is something about Brent, it's that he scores goals, and it's just not goals, but it's goals, Brandon, like capital G.
Well, the one thing that's interesting about this league, first and foremost, in the eDivisie, is that there's 4 different periods. There's multiple ways that you can qualify for the grand finals here tonight. You could play well back in December, you could play back well in November, and that's what Brent did to a degree, didn't he? He got his spot earlier in the season, and let's be honest, was he at full effort for the rest of the season?
He even said
I don't think he was. The last time that he played Gio Bundy, the game finished 12-1. Gio Bundy won 12-1. I just spoke to Gio Bundy backstage. He said, to be fair to Brent, he might not be in the mood to play at the game, but he also didn't submit his draft correctly. So
yeah.
Look,
in the end,
Brent knew that he was here. He's also said, as you said before, he needs pressure. He needs to come into a game of pressure. How about a World Championship ticket on the line? That's pressure, isn't it?
What's more, that's like the most pressure you can get in a ticket, like World Championship. Like imagine being there, seeing for some people even their, I'd say idols a little bit, seeing the big names, trying to hang out with them a bit, have a chat, learn a lot, and it's once again it could be, as you said already, a career-defying challenge. Right.
Absolutely. Let us know as well in the chat, what SBC player did you go for tonight and tomorrow? There are loads of SBCs happening as part of the FC Pro partnered leagues, depending on results to happen there as the guys went through it in the quarterfinals. There's already been a few upgrades, hasn't there? Such as Van der Brummen of Ajax. They are.
I love
he's
the
already
pronunciation, Brendan.
I mean, it's probably not there, is it?
It's fine.
We can go through a few of the teams. I'm actually happy that a few of the players have been knocked out to save me from that pronunciation. Sorry, a certain Luke of Willam. I'm hearing that maybe we are ready to get into our first semi-final for today. Let's have a look at the matches that are coming up a little bit later on today.
So, second one was Gio Bundy, because obviously we already did Brent Weerink. Now we're going to go into Gio Bundy, who did have, like, I'd say, a very stable way towards the finals. Didn't really have, like, the ups and downs as the other guys had. But for him, it was more, I'd say, consistent. Finished in 4th place in the ranking. And did win the 4th period, so that's the way he qualified. But in the end, he also had like a decent spot in the rankings. And as we said, it's his 3rd consecutive semi-final with 3 different clubs as well, Brandon.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got the stat on there, haven't you, of his consistency in the Netherlands. For Gio Bundy as well, his best ever competition he's played in was an eChampions League. It wasn't last year because of how the setup was in terms of the eChampions League spots. It was the year before that he qualified for an eChampions League. So the fact that he's already back there this year, he's potentially in a position that he's in a top 4 again, as you've said, for a 3rd year in a row with a 3rd different club in the Netherlands. And he's 1 win away from a world championship. I feel like, is this a moment that's bubbling up for him?
Could be massive, and I do know that some international teams were looking at maybe he's an interesting player for us. Maybe he could bring something to the table. And eventually they didn't go for him. He did choose to stay in the KPN eDivisie in the Netherlands. But maybe after this, I'd say eChampions League run that he might or might not have, and even the World Championship, it might be his time to like peak.
I mean, hopefully it will be. Imagine if he picks up 20,000 euros as well tonight. That would be the perfect way to tee yourself up for the World Championships. For those that have just joined us tonight, we are coming live to you from the Netherlands in a very special art gallery here in the centre of the city of Amsterdam. I mean, look, this is a really special night tonight. We are waiting to get our semi-finals going. The quarterfinals already played earlier today. If you're wondering what the squad restrictions are and how things are looking, well, guess what? If you play in the eDivisie, Hakeem, you're pretty lucky. The only rule really is there must be 3 Dutch players within your starting 11, and then you can basically sub those players off as soon as the game starts. Gio Bundy was telling me that his Dutch 3 players basically do get subbed off as the game starts. This is Brent's team for tonight. I mean, what you're liking about it, obviously, a selection of icons in there, Team of the Year players. David Ginola even gets a call up again. And on the other side for Gio Bundy, really enjoying a selection of women's players in there as well. I think Caroline Hansen was there, Mia Hamm was involved.
Esper everywhere.
Foot birthday, Virgil van Dijk.
Van der Sar is a goalkeeper we see everywhere. I think he's going to stay in net. Like I don't see him being subbed out, right? On the other hand, we do have Van Dijk, and he also put Cruyff as a center attacking midfielder. So could be interesting as well from Gio. If he's going to sub him out straight away, that's something different. But let us see what will happen. Maybe he was throwing some, I'll say, dirt in your eyes, Brandon, just to make sure that you didn't know how he was going to approach it tactically. If
anyone's got a calculator on them that's watching at home and from around the world now, how many coins do you think a team like that would cost? I mean, we've all probably seen it in Weekend League at some point, haven't you? I mean, look, it literally says the words unlimited budget on the right-hand corner because it's a ridiculous team. And guess what? With Team of the Season around the corner as well, these players would have been thinking, just if we had a few more weeks for those Team of the Season items to pop in and to see exactly what they can do to these teams. But overall, look, 6 different icons in that squad. It's a ridiculous team.
It looks amazing. Honestly, I would love to play with a team like that. If only I've got the coins for that, Brandon. Maybe I should trade a little bit better.
And that's what they're playing for tonight, isn't it? The KPN eDivisie title. So this tournament's been running since 2017. I think it's our 9th year. I mean, it's one of the earliest leagues that's been running. It's been running for such a long time, and you've had so many stories in there. You've had the likes of Danny Hackerberg. Remember the Danny Visser when he was reeling in, back in 2019.
Tony Kok.
Yep.
There are plenty of people that already passed the scene, and of course Ali Riza Aygun, who's still in this league as well, which is obviously a very nice touch to it. An old player that started back in the days, and obviously there were so many storylines that we already saw in this KPN eDivisie, and I think it's just going to continue because we do see it as a source of talent. Talk about Levi de Weert, Manuel Bachore, Emre Yilmaz, sorry. There are plenty of people that actually did make it onto the big stage. Think about Lef Vinken, Dani Hagebeuk, obviously, Nick Den Hamer. All players that did make it on the big stage and did play in these international tournaments. So for them as well, to start in the KPN eDivisie and then build towards that international career, it does seem like a good pathway.
They'll be happy as well, won't they, that a lot of these Dutch players this year, the likes of Emre Yilmaz has gone away from this league, Manu Bachore went away from this league as well, that some of the big heavy hitters, PHN as well, are not playing this year. And we've seen that already from the players that have made it to the eChampions League. The pot of players is so open now, and I think this is going to be an unbelievable chance in this game in particular for one of these two players to qualify for the World Championships. What a moment this is going to be for them.
Here we go, Brandon. We do see the players entering the stage. First up is FC Twente's Brent Weerink. He's going to sit with his coach right at the left-hand side, and I do think we're going to have a second pair of players, and the second player is going to be Gio Bundy, who will come in a little bit later, because first, of course, he has to be announced, has to sit down, and I do think we will hear, because I do hear him already being ready, right? So he's going to go on stage as well with Gio Bundy and Almere City.
Just saw as well the Dutch commentary team. How do we get sofas like that?
Yeah, I was asking.
How do we get sofas like that? I mean, we're in a special place. I think there's only about 2 of them around. I can see them in the distance, but you're absolutely right. This is a first for me of doing an FC esports competition in an art gallery. But
you've done way more than me, like respectively.
But this is unique.
This is unique, right?
This is very unique. This is very, very different. I think I was actually at the EMLS not that long ago. That was in an art museum. I don't know what it is about art museums this year in the FC Pro ecosystem. Clearly, we love them. We are going to be getting into our first semi-final. For those asking about certain upgrades as well, Brian Limbombe didn't get an upgrade because Heracles lost their game. Martins Indy did get an upgrade of AZ Alkmaar there. Van der Boomen got an upgrade.
I'll allow it, Brandon. I'll allow it. It's indeed the Ajax player, Van der Boom. Then you always have also Almere City, obviously with Willem II. That was Almere that did make it through. And obviously with FC Utrecht. It's quite sad because everybody would have loved a little bit of Haller, no?
Yeah. Sebastian Haller. I didn't even know he was playing for
Utrecht, yeah.
FC Utrecht.
Yeah, he is.
He is?
So
how's he getting on over there? Scoring?
I don't follow too much, I'd say. I do know he's there. That I can tell you.
I mean, look, he'll never be getting a 92 rated item like that again, will he, for quite some time. Unfortunately, Mats Kullameyer, World Championship player last year of Ajax, FC Utrecht, this time knocked out in the quarter-finals. He goes back to the drawing board for this year.
I do see the chat. I see some bonjour, I see some bora bora, so I can see people are watching from all over the world, and I just love it. I just love it, Brandon. There was somebody watching from Paris even, watching this tournament. And if we're talking about Renaissance, if we're talking about some art, then Paris is also a lovely city, obviously, next to Amsterdam to visit. So maybe that would be like the drawing for him to come watch this tournament. If you're in such a nice setting, obviously, you have to tune in.
I was going to say, I'm sure that the Paris League One this year might not be in an art gallery. It's in a special theatre somewhere. That one, of course, coming up. It's the real exciting time here in the FC Pro ecosystem. So many leagues are unfolding. eChampions League tickets are being given out. World Championship spots are being given out ahead of this summer's tournament. We're waiting to get going. We want to get these games started as much as you do tonight. We'll have a look at the draft teams a few more times.
It's just because maybe it's interesting here to see, because we can get something from it, right? If you see Davies on the left-hand side, you can see that Van Dijk and Maldini are playing in midfield, and centre-back. And at the right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken, it was Cafu. So it does mean that we're going for smaller players even on the wing, but they have pace. They have pace for days. So I'm assuming Gio Bundy is going to go for that attack on the wing and trying to create some space there to try and attack the defense of course, Brent Weerink, who loves to attack and score goals as well.
Well, Brent Weerink will be hoping that this time he doesn't concede 12 goals.
Maybe.
Because that was not a pretty sight. I mean, it was literally the last league game they played before coming into the finals was a 12-1 win for Gio Bundy. I mean, I know we won't be thinking it's going to be an easy walk in the park because he's in the semi-finals for a reason.
he is here, so he did make it because he did win that periodic champion. I think it was the second one. We've already discussed it with Renzo quite a few times, actually. But it does mean that he can do something. Even if it's only on 5 games, you can do something. You can win a game. And he did show that, of course, in his previous match against Max. But now he has to do that trick again and show that he's not a one-trick pony. Just scoring goals won't be enough, I think, against Gio Bundy because he's just going to do the same thing. So maybe we have to switch it up. And I do think they are getting ready, right, Brandon? Finally. Some live action.
Here we go. It's what we've been waiting for, isn't it? To get this KPN eDivisie underway. I believe both players just locking in some codes. Was looking on the build-up to this one, Hakeem, in terms of champions. Danny Hackerberg technically has won this competition 3 times in an Ajax shirt. Levy de Veerd could win this competition 3 times as well this evening. Obviously did it once for Vitesse.
Yeah, Vitesse. You have to add the E. You're almost there, Brandon. Like, your Dutch is going to be perfect. This is the 3rd or the 4th time you're doing the eDivisie. And I think after the next one, you'll be fluent in Dutch.
Vitesse.
There you go. You see? You're already learning. So, yeah, indeed. When we look at Levy de Veerd, he did win. He already won it twice.
Won last year, didn't he?
Sorry?
He won it last year.
Last year with PhD, it was a penalty. It was, I'd say, it was a crazy matchup. It was against PSV Eindhoven, if I'm not mistaken. We were there to commentate and to host, obviously. But I still remember the victory jump that PhD had after that penalty series.
At one point, I wasn't sure if we were watching sort of wrestling or not. I saw PhD with a steel chair walking around and they were just so emotional because you knew exactly what was on the line there. Those World Championship spots for them.
On the other hand, obviously, with Brent and Gio, it's going to be something important for them. We start with that semi-final, and they are still getting ready, Brandon. For me, personally, this is where I get stressed. How do you deal with stress? Because obviously, when you come onto this stage, you've done it so many times. Do you get some stress still if you have to commentate?
It's just back in what you've done before, isn't it? And getting in the flow state. I mean, we are underway.
No need to talk about stress.
It's not about stress anymore.
We can talk about gaming, finally. We have FC Twente against Almere City. It's Brent Weerink in the red shirt from left to right, and then Gio Bundy on the right-hand side in the light blue. Right, Brandon, first chance, true ball, didn't make it, nice interception. And now Van der Sar can play it all to the wing, to Genoa.
Well, keep in mind that this is a straight knockout tournament. 9-minute halves. But for this one, there's a World Championship ticket on the line for 2 players that have never been to a World Championship before. And of all people to get this underway, it could be Rodri. Just about keeps in play, looks to recycle it back across, and Virgil van Dijk, right place, right time for Almere City.
We do see some people in the crowd looking. They are quite interesting at this game as well. They are following, trying to see, and obviously in a setting like this one, there could be already a first goal with Cafu playing it into the striker, but it's a nice interception. Corner for Gio Bundy.
Quick corner comes in. Johan Cruyff had an idea there for an acrobatic effort. You just saw there a few shots of friends and family that have come out here this evening.
Gino tries to find some space with a nice player lock here, but a lovely interception there from Gio Bundy. Does lose it again to Brent.
Here's that Heung-min Son item that we know is so deadly with that famous finesse.
It's been
Playstyle Plus.
Yes. I'd say it's a quite a messy start of the game. A lot of lost possession, balls given away. Maybe they are stressing, Brandon. Maybe they have a little bit of that stress. They do know that it's a final spot on the line right here.
Well, there's no best of 2, is there? There's no aggregate scoreline. It really is probably one of the worst games you can lose in your season when you come this close to a World Championship ticket!
Golazo!
It will be R9 that gets this party underway. FC Twente. 1-0 they lead. You mentioned it was a bit of a cagey start.
Crazy goal, Brandon. 1-0 up for Brent once again. And like you said, he did lose out 11-1 already, right? In this previous matchup. And now he's 1-0 up. For him personally, it would also be like the moment where he's feeling like, okay, I've got this. This is a new game. We have to change it up once again. I don't have to think about last game. Mentally, you have to reset and sit right there and watch your opponent in the eyes and say like, okay, this time you won't get me that easy. Trying to hear what Gio is saying. I can translate for you, Brandon, so that's already like a good thing for you, right? Trying to hear what they are saying, but I can't really hear it. It was Almere who did cue the pause right before the goal happened, so didn't wait until after. Right, here we go again.
Well, look, we know that they've got unlocked budget for tonight's broadcast, and these eDivisie finals, you don't really want anyone else on the pitch in terms of a striker than that man. It only took him 11 minutes for R9 Ronaldo to open up his account.
Back on the way we go. So Gio does have to search for that reaction straight away. Maybe it's here already. Got past the defender, but it was just offside. Another chance for Brent now to try and attack, try to find that spaces, and he does find them pretty well. He's going forward quite fast, and here is Ronaldo once again. Ronaldo! Nice tackle from Davis. Gets it on the last ditch. Perfectly timed tackle.
Gio Bundy just trying to get himself back in possession and feeling a bit more comfortable. It's a long ball over the top, asking a lot for Alphonso Davies. We know he's got the legs, but Van der Sar was quickest to come off the line and looked instantly. It's going to be Daniel Malen looking for a Trivela!
He had to watch out. Davies was out of position after that attack, and it did get punished by Daniel Malen. 2-0 up. Brent Weerink. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Well, the angle just looked way too off there for Daniel Malen. The ball roll just allowed him to shape it up and ever so better, and then somehow he's bent that in top corner. And for FC Twente, 2-0 they lead in 20 in-game minutes. And maybe he doesn't quite realise, but he's on his way to a World Championship.
Nothing's played yet, Brandon, obviously. 20 minutes in game. A lot can happen in 70 in-game minutes. But Gio does need to search for a goal. Has to find an opportunity even to try and go into it. Once again, does have a little bit of the possession right now. Xavi, you can trust him with the ball, Xavi. Ginola now, there's space in the middle. Goes there. Lovely shot. Blocked. Does get the rebound once again. Good defending from Brent. And it's Almere with the second pause again, Brandon. He's really looking into making changes because it's not clicking for him.
No, he's not happy, is he? He's asking for an admin as well. I mean, you can...
He's saying, I can't do anything. That's what he like live translation, Brandon. So a little bit of a question being asked from Gio Bundy. We'll see what will happen. Putting his hand up.
We don't blame him as well. This is a World Championship game, Hakeem, and if it's not feeling right, the gameplay's not feeling good, and
so what he's saying is, I can't get this. Like I can't make it work. Something is not happening for me. It's not clicking. So he is saying that there is something for him what he's feeling, but yeah, he's asking the admin a little bit of advice. Not on FIFA wise, not in EAFC wise, not in gaming wise, but I'd say rather in the way that the game is feeling for him.
Oké, dus we moeten het hier ook mee doen. Want zeg maar, ik trap die bal nu uit omdat ik jullie haal. Omdat
Now he's asking what he can do when he kicked out the ball, if he can get it back. Because he did pause to kick it out of play, and he's asking if he can get it back. If there's going to be some fair play, maybe we have to introduce a fair play prize as well, maybe, Brandon, in here.
I mean, I think there's a few prizes given out tonight, isn't there? Such as best goal of the season, best player of the season.
I think there's also the best youngster or best rookie.
There's always a rookie prize as well, isn't there?
So a few prizes are being given away, but maybe we'll need the best for fair play as well. You know those compilations, like top 10 fair play moments? Could be one of those. Look at that, Brent. Lovely from him. Gives it back to Gio Bundy, and we're back underway. 2-0 still.
I think one thing we can agree between these players here at the eDivisie is there's a lot of respect between them.
Obviously, they did play a complete year with one another. They have been working together and against each other, obviously, but also during the tournaments, they will be helping each other, trying to train. But here is another pass through Son on the finesse! Got that one from you, Brandon. Son on the finesse, once again, 3-0. In Dutch, they call this a Jantje.
For Gio Bundy, I mean, what can he do? He's not happy, he's not feeling like this. Is a match where he feels settled by any means. And if there was any way to put himself in a better mood, it's not this. He's 3-0 down.
Tough one for Gio Bundy. He has to try and find that goal, try to get back into the game, trying to make it work for him, because he does need that one goal. 3-1 would put him in a complete different scenario, and he's trying to attack right here straight away with Cafu and Rodri, trying to attack even more. So, Cruyff on the ball, right hand side, trying to find Rodri. He's looking for some space right here. Goes back to Graham Hansen. Now there's Mia Hamm, but a good interception once again, and now Brent Weerink can go on to the attack. Can he make it even 4 right here? That might put the dagger in for Gio Bundy. That might break his complete confidence. But we'll have to see. We can see some people praying right there. They're praying for Gio. I think it is a family member of Gio that they spotted in the crowd. She was there last year as well, so I don't think
she has been to quite a few of his events, in fact. So I remember, I think even seeing her at the eChampions League. How difficult is it in this moment though, Hakeem, now? Mentally, you're getting frustrated in your mind, the gameplay's not feeling as you want it to, you're 3-0 down, you're thinking that there's a World Championship spot that's slipping through my fingers here. How would you reposition yourself? How do you get yourself back in the zone?
Yeah, normally you'd go for a pause. Try to get your hands off the controller, trying to get regain your strength, but he has no time to regain his strength because Son is due once again. But there is the goalkeeper coming out for Gio, and he does save him this time. But it won't keep happening. You won't be able to keep timing those goalkeeper rushes at the correct time. So there will be times when Brent is going to break to that defense and will be one-on-one with the goalkeeper again. So you have to watch out. Right, Brent is trying to go for a little bit, I'd say, slower approach.
Just a goal here before half-time. Gio Bundy finds himself 3-0 down in his most important game of the season. Went for the player lock. He's going to be way offside there, David Ginola. The idea was there, but he was just a bit too slow, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, perfect execution though, but a little bit too slow.
Just building up again now, Brent Weerink. Looking for a 4th goal before half-time. He is well and truly cruising his way towards a World Championship spot. Which we must also say on the opposite side, that World Championship ticket is pretty much already been given away, because eDivisie qualified for the World Championships at the FC Pro Open earlier on this year. Here comes Arno Ronaldo now looking for another one. Just about doing enough defensively.
Lovely tackle once again. They do have those last minutes or last second tackles, and maybe here is a chance, Brandon.
I think this half-time whistle can't come any sooner here, Kim.
He doesn't need to find that break a little bit, and does maybe a lucky bounce, maybe a lucky goal to just get him back into that groove, get him back into the game.
Just something, isn't it, to latch on to.
But for that, he does have to be in front of goal, obviously.
Next goal is so crucial in terms of which way it goes.
Here we go, a little bit of space.
Try to find David Ginola there, no. Decides in fact to go the other way. Mia Hamm finds David Ginola, may have thought about the finesse from that sort of distance.
Brent is playing this out perfectly now. He does have his opportunities. He does defend impeccable, I'd say.
Well, look, if there's a time to play with with pressure on your shoulders, this is that moment.
He's already slowing the play down as well. So for those that are just tuning in, this is the first semi-final of the KPN eDivisie. It's FC Twente's Brent Weerink against Gio Bundy from Almere City.
Hang on a second, Mia Hamm's on sides! Gio Bundy needed that! Because he was on the verge of sinking out of this game. 3-1 just before half-time, and suddenly there's a bit of confidence back inside him. Because on paper, he should be the favourite coming into this game. Everything's back in his performance this year in results, the consistency along the 4 different periods in the league.
Brent was the lowest ranked player coming into this eDivisie finals, quarterfinals even, and he's just showing up today, so he's feeling good, he's feeling grooving, he's going with the flow, getting those goals in, but the 3-1 lead at halftime. He does look a little bit disappointed though, but might go a little bit better. Just give it some time, you have a break now, get your hands off the controller like I said, and then maybe you could roll once again into that second half.
Well, let's see if we can have a little listen in, Mr. Dora. You can potentially hear what is being said if we can get some audio through from the players.
He's actually not trying to talk too loud, you know. Although they have a microphone, he's really trying to whisper so we can't hear it.
It's one of the best things about this league here in the Netherlands, that all the players are mic'd up. I mean, I remember the 2 licks of Tony Koch a few years ago to Danny Hackerberg going crazy, and you just get to really hear all the emotions and the honesty in moments from players, whether it's good or bad, in times of stress, frustration.
I do think it's one of the nice things in one of these competitions that you do see the emotions. And you do see people out there trying to, I won't say trash talk because they won't go that far, but they give a little bit of like, those little, I'd say playful way of talking to one another, trying to get under the skin of the other person. And who was better at that than Danny Hagenburg?
Ik had oprecht geen probleem met de nieuwe potstart, maar ja.
They are even talking to one another right now. They're explaining like how you're feeling about this game.
Well, I think it's clear to see that they have got quite a friendly relationship, haven't they, the 2 players? Unfortunately, that has to be put to a side for another 45 minutes because there's a World Championship ticket on the line in this game. Whoever wins this game is on their way to the FC Pro World Championships later on this year. David Ginola looking to restore a 3-goal cushion. He plays into his teammate R9, and 3 becomes 4. So Brent Weerink. And if there was any thought of a comeback, any hope of a comeback, and he's back to the drawing board for Gio Bundy.
Maybe the break should have waited a little bit longer, right? Gio was just getting into it, just scored that goal, and then right after that break, taking that 4th goal. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for him to come back, but mentally he is a strong person, so I do think he can push himself back again, bump himself back up, and he does have his coach next to him. So he has to watch what he can do there. All right, kickoff once again for Gio. Has to find that goal, has to find it quickly. But it's not working his way. It's not working for him. It's not clicking, Brandon. It's not working.
Wat is dat dan?
It's a way back for Amir Ham. Pele, surely Hansen!
We've got a game at our hands.
Constante player like met Rodri.
We've got a game on our hands. 4-2. 2 goals cushion for Brent. But still, I have the feeling that if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Gio.
It's 9-minute halves as well, isn't it?
Plenty of time left.
So much time.
Left hand, left foot, sorry. Lovely, put it into the side of the goal. And a little celebration. That's what I'm missing right now, a little bit of celebrations. So I do want to see them like celebrate, maybe do like one of those, I'd say in-game celebrations as well in real life. That would be lovely.
It's just a bit of mutual respect between them, though.
Maybe there is. Maybe there is, but maybe a little Sue coming onto the camera.
I'm sure there'll be some celebrations at the end of this one. There's another player locks themselves into this year's FC Pro World Championships later this summer. David Ginola wants the back post. Is there an option there? Tries to go on his own with the French hero. Van der Sar comes charging out and does enough to keep Brent in a 2-goal cushion.
Hello. Brandon. What was that?
I don't know, it was a voice break, wasn't it? Clever idea there to try and cross the ball over into the path of a forward.
I hated that decisive pass, man.
Now it's Brent being a little, complaining a little bit, trying to find his way.
I had the word incisive pass, and we know how important play styles are this year.
But Gio is coming back into this game, and I do feel like he's getting a little bit more confident as well, trying to find those spaces, and does find them from time to time. But maybe, like I said, he does need that little bit of luck to try and switch it around.
That's a clever pass. Tonio Mallon already scored a Trivela earlier on this game. Looking to give FC Twente a 5-2 lead. Oh, he went for a Trivela with R9!
Wow. I told you we were going to see goals, right? I already gave you the heads up. 5-2 already. Gio can't believe it. He's watching his eyes out. He's like, what am I seeing on screen? What am I seeing on my screen?
Well, it's just about being clinical, isn't it, in those moments? He's timed it green. He's given it to probably one of the best attackers on the game. Let's not joke about it. And for all that hard work, for those 2 or 3 mini moments there, Hakeem, where Gio Bundy was building back into the game, it will not mean anything.
That roulette was deadly as well with Doniel Malen to open up that space a little bit for R9. And obviously with the Trivela green timed, he's not going to miss from there, is he, Brandon?
Just saw someone in the chat as well, King Fury 9717. Been watching, but I'd like to watch for a bit longer. Maybe I can learn something to implement into my own game. From looking at gameplay at this level, Hakeem, what will be some of the small things that people can add into their game, from player locking to certain skill moves to finishing types in certain areas of the pitch to even utilising play styles?
Exactly. That's a perfect sum up. But this ball right here, Brandon, once you got this one locked,
hello.
There you go. Simple as you like. They were asking in the chat and they delivered. It's one of those true balls. Once you master these, you will have opportunities. One time they will work, one time they won't work, but in the end, you will have opportunities and you might terror the defense of your opponents. And that way does open up for you a lot of creations and chances that could be made.
Well, Mia Hamm down one end has scored a handful of goals, and R9 has been the prolific goal scorer for Brent. I mean, look, I'll ask the chat now. I can probably understand which way the answer's going to go, but why do you think Gio Bundy prefers what Mia Hamm offers to an R9? Because we know that R9, no doubt, is probably one of the best icons we've ever seen in the game since he was introduced all the way back in, what, FC 17, all those years ago. But there is personal preference which comes into play.
It's mostly personal preferences, indeed. I've seen people ditch R9 even for Thierry Henry, and watch out here. Almost had an opportunity, and the chat did catch on. They caught on, sorry. They did see the Hakimi celebration right there with Mia Hamm, and obviously, for me, I love that one, Brandon.
I thought you'd like that one.
But watch out. Here we
He's
go.
R9. Straight away! That time, stopped. Or not, just off target completely there from R9.
You could even see the family, the reaction of the family was similar to mine whenever I saw that ball not finishing at the back of the net.
That's a long ball all the way across. So far, it went past Alphonso Davies.
What's your favourite celebration, Brandon?
I'll be honest, I feel like if you're celebrating the wrong way on this game, on a weekend league, it will just come back to bite you in some way. So, skip.
Lovely.
Skip and just try and score again. And I'm probably going to get about one rage quit across the weekend. So, let's see who wants to give it to me.
Still.
Hang on a second. Is the angle there? Hansen into Ham. You can see all the family and friends are feeling all the emotions of these players. That's a clever pass. Daniel Malum was trying to outsmart Alphonso Davies there, but couldn't quite have the legs.
Tactical foul right here from Daniel Malen. Does take the yellow card, but might be subbed off straight away. And there we go. Mohamed Salah on the pitch. Another threat on that right-hand side.
What does he offer you as well when he comes into the pitch, Shaquem? A finesse plus play style that just gives you options.
Left-footed as well on the right-hand side. Very dangerous.
Look at the space for R9 here. Surely that was asking a bit too much. There was a bit of goalkeeper movement. There is still time in this game. 15 minutes away from a World Championship spot, and that would have been one hell of a way to book your ticket with a goal like that.
And now Gio Bundy can try and find that very important goal.
A goal before what minute?
85, I'd say. Personally, 85. You get that last attack, and that's a dagger. If you get that last minute goal again, equalizer, then you basically won it in extra time. There we go. Another yellow card. Now for the other winger. Heung-min Son. Is he going to get subbed out straight away as well? Same treatment as Daniel Mal.
He can get himself on the ball here. FC Twente. Just look after it. Take time out of the game. There's a World Championship ticket. People don't realise that as soon as you qualify for the World Championships, you guarantee yourself $12,500 without even kicking a ball. You're in the prize pot. It's $1 million prize pot of the World Championships. And he might just be on his way there. Mohamed Salah there trying to pick up a bounce back. 8 minutes away. We always mentioned, and you mentioned it on the build-up of this, Shaquem, that he's been to semi-finals before, he's been to top fours. And it's always felt like the stumbling block. It's always been Levi de Veer or Ajax that has been in his way, but this time, it's a different bracket. He's on the opposite side, and he might be in to meet him in a grand final. Unless Gio Bundy has other ideas. Hansen is onside! Yes!
85th minute. We are before the 85th minute, Brandon. It's still on.
Just about onside there. Caroline Hansen, time in the run. And we might just be in for one hell of a last 5 in-game minutes.
For somebody as small as Hansen to get that ball and head it in, head it home. Very important goal for Gio. It does keep him alive, and it does keep him in this game.
Some of the chat saying how is Esports Utrecht Sebastian Haller doing in terms of an upgrade. There won't be an upgrade, unfortunately, for him today, because Max Kullermeyer was eliminated in the quarter-final stages. It was one win you needed to get in the top 4, and obviously a win was a +1 too, so he will be remaining as a 90 rated in-game item if you did take him from the SBC. Hang on a second.
Now being Brent, you have to slow that pace down. You have to try and, I'd say, monopolize that ball, trying to keep it for you. He doesn't listen at me at all.
So he wants to go and get one more goal, but at the same point of doing that, you're giving away possession. You're giving Gio Bundy a chance to try and tie this game up. Pressure's on his shoulders now to keep himself in the competition!
Brandon. 85th minute. And here we go now. Equalizer. This is going to be huge.
Gio Bundy ties the game up in the last 2 minutes. You're Brent Weerink there. You're not just thinking, just keep the ball a bit more. He was trying to score again, Nicky. He didn't need to go and score again. He just needed to manage the game.
What a lovely pass there. One touch play, through ball to Rodri. And who else than Rodri with a goal for Gio Bundy?
Rodri, of all players.
Exactly.
That 97 Team of the Year rated that has just continued to keep his run going.
I love that assist. Honestly, I love that assist. One touch, no thinking. He just knew what was going to happen. And that's when you see the real power coming out. Whenever you don't have to think about certain actions, but everything happens just automatically and it just flows.
4 minutes of added time. We never see 4 minutes.
There is one more chance there, Brian.
I think there could be one more chance.
Ooh, that last minute might hurt so bad for any player right now.
You can see now it would be the worst way to conclude your eDivisie season.
That would be a hard break, but it's going to happen for any one of those too, so...
Gio Bundy. Do you fancy one more attack, my friend? You've just scored 2 goals in 7 minutes, 1 out of 3rd into the pile. 25 in-game seconds away from extra time in our first semi-final here tonight. Gio Bundy, this would be remarkable. Has he won a corner? He has! Hang on a second. Corner comes in, goes all the way across, and for a split second I thought Virgil van Dijk would have been waiting there. Extra time will be needed.
Yes, Brandon, what a game. What a game. How you can mentally reset from that 2-0 deficit, then come back into your game. There was a 3-goal deficit at a certain point, and still come back every single time. I told you, it calls for mental resilience, and he did show that today. But it's not over yet.
It isn't over. This is the last 2 goals we're going to see again on the replay. That was 5-4 just before the 84th minute. Gio Bundy, in the one word you describe his game, is frustrated. He has been so frustrated in this game.
That was the 5-4, but now 5-5, Brandon.
This was the assist of all assists, wasn't it? I mean, look, we're in an art gallery. This could have been up there for a masterpiece.
I do want to see a picture of the person winning this tournament right next to like one of Rembrandt's paintings, right?
I think it would, look, if it was hand-painted, Hakeem, it could work.
Now, Brandon, you've got something here. You're cooking something. I can see that. A live painter right here on stage, trying to paint like the winner. Kickoff.
I don't know where it would go in this art museum, but it would go somewhere.
We'll find a place. We'll find a place for it.
30 more minutes of extra time needed. So Hernandez there, just continue this run. And suddenly he's got the running to do to get back. He's not in position. Mohamed Salah teases the play loss. Still Mohamed Salah! Corner. They're coming for FC Twente. Towards the front post! Oh! How about that for a goal?
Tried it once, didn't work. Tried a second time. Third time was the charm. He kept trying. He kept trying, Brandon, and eventually it pays off. He did score. What a lovely bicycle kick.
We'll have to see it again. It was so good. Yeah, that's Lucio.
Expected goal of 0.15. I've never seen Lucio do anything of this, so Brent is a special player. If he can turn a centre-back into a, better than an attacking striker even, like, insane set of skills right here, and a lovely goal to put him in front once again.
Well, the one thing that he has on his side is he's never been down in this game, has he, Hakeem? He's always been in front, even though he had a 2-goal cushion, a 3-goal cushion, a 1-goal cushion. He's always regained the lead.
On the other side, Gio has been coming back every single time, so maybe we'll see a similar thing.
Oh my days, that might fall to R9's feet.
There we go,
Chance to break in now. What a ball that is, by the way. Mia Hamm, could you pull away? Yes! Just about from Virgil van Dijk.
We talked about this particular pass, right? If you needed anything from this game, this is the thing, and he scored once again. Lovely true ball. First time.
Wat is het ook een schot? Ik sta er toch van voor.
And it's a little bit of a lobbed shot as well, right? It dips a little bit. Lovely, lovely finish from Mia Hamm. And this is one of the reasons why you could put Mia Hamm instead of R9, obviously, as a striker. But she's showing what she can do.
Well, apologies for any unsavoury language there from our semi-finalists here at the eDivisie. You can feel the pressure that they are certainly under. We're in a 6-6 game that we haven't said enough times already. There's a World Championship spot that is sitting on the line for one of these two. Hang on a second, straight away! Oh my days! This is an absolute goal fest! 13 of them! You look away a second, another goal goes in!
Talking about high scoring, brother, this is magnificent. The finesse from Vinicius. And it's once again Brent Weerink in the lead. I mean, he did lose his lead every single time, so he has to try and keep it for once, right? You want to go to those World Championships, so you have to keep a lead for once, or even...
How many more times, though, Hakeem, can he be in a lead?
Eventually it's going to bite you. If you don't capitalize on these opportunities and score more, eventually it's going to come back and you will fall.
I think it was Anders Vergang that once said it about, oh, you know, we're playing tennis. This really is a tennis match, isn't it, between these two?
We're in a tiebreaker right now, then.
We'll be going into the late hours if this was the tennis game between these two. Added time of 2 minutes. Gio Bundy will get the last kick off the half, but won't be able to make the most of it.
What?
A tactical foul that comes in.
Might this be a red? Felt like he was going through and goal.
He looked like he was the last man.
Oh, is he yellow?
Toch de bal? Hier zo echt een mega rare ding.
Almost another goal there, Brandon. Just before half-time.
And to keep in mind that this is a straight knockout, best of one matchup, no 2 legs, no aggregate scoreline, which just continues to add all the pressure. I'm sure players will sit here and they'd probably agree that, look, we want best of twos, we want aggregate scoreline, but for the viewer, Hakeem, it's so much more entertaining being straight knockout.
Exactly, the stress is on their faces.
More entertaining.
You can see it. Like, look how they are reacting to every single thing that's happening. With 2 games, they can obviously like wait out the first one and then try to change their plan a little bit for the second one. In this one, you just have to go. You just have to try and try and score. But look at this shot, Brandon. This is what we do it for, right? the night watch on the back, and I'm not talking about night watch, I'm talking about the night watch, because obviously we have one as well in the EFC scene.
I mean, look, this tournament has been here, there and everywhere. Across the Netherlands, it's travelled far and wide, but it's never been to an art museum as famous as this.
Gio has one more half to try and score and try to equalize and maybe even win it. Why not?
Hansen trying to get the angle, tries to then manoeuvre it onto Vinicius Junior. 7-7. This feels like it needs a penalty shootout to decide who's going to a World Championship.
And even then, during that penalty shootout, we might go to 15-15. Why not? 7-7, Brandon. Wow, wow, wow.
The one thing that's missing from this game, though, Hakeem, is Gio Bundy going in front. How many more times can he come from behind? Because he just keeps on fighting. He's never given up, is he?
I think the moment he goes in front, it's done. I honestly think so. This is what's happening like all over the world in every single game. And I've watched quite a few games in my lifespan already, Brandon. I'm telling you right now, if you go down every single time, the one time you will go up, that will be the final whistle.
I mean, chat, you can see us at home. Who do you think is going to win this game? FC Twente or Almeria City?
It's going to be heartless nonetheless for both of these players. They have fought so hard. You could argue for both of them.
Oh my, what a turn. What a turn! Oh, Thierry Henry!
They don't stop scoring, Brandon. They don't stop scoring. They don't want to go home just yet.
I mean, if we could analyse it, that little turn from Thierry Henry, he sent the defender packing. He sent him to the shops.
Gio Bundy has to show him once again how resilient he is, how hard he can fight back into this game. But the time is running out this time. Only 8 more minutes on the clock for him to come back.
I wouldn't write him off, though. Has he learned this time round, though, Hakeem, Brent, about game management? He was in this moment to a degree. He was about 6 or 7 in-game minutes away from seeing himself through in normal time, in the normal 90 minutes.
I mean, he keeps trying to attack, though, so maybe not.
Look, I understand what he wants to do. He wants to keep entertaining us. Oh, my days.
There you go, Brandon. Maybe not, but it's definitely not.
Oh, my days.
I think this one has to go to penalties. This one has to go to penalties, Brandon. There's no way they are going to finish this one. Oh, wow. Another goal. Now this time Gio Bundy. Equalizer once again.
Shall we just go to penalties? I mean, look, it needs it. 16 goals, and we still haven't got anything to separate the two of them.
All square once again.
You would think this is the grand final. It's not. It's our first semi-final of tonight.
But if anything, if this is going to happen in that second one, I'm all for it, Brandon. I'm here. I'm here all night.
One thing that we have realised, Hakeem, is that Brent Weerink can't hold on to a lead by the looks of it, because every single time he's been in front, honestly, 4 or 5 times he's been in the lead of this game, he's restored his lead. He just keeps on giving it back.
Here we go, another interception.
And if he was to throw it away in the last 2 minutes here,
that celebration is going to come out then, I think.
what, the famous penguin?
I don't think he's going to do it in real life, knowing Gio Bundy. But we might ask him to do it.
I'm sure there'll be a huge outpour of emotion from everyone in this crowd that have come here to Amsterdam tonight to support him. Last minute plus additional time on the clock for a spot in the World Championships. Are we going to be going to penalties?
Gives it away though. Opportunity now.
Added time of 2 minutes. FC Twente might get the last kick of the game. Goes for a play along. That one not managed well.
Hold on, Brandon. One more chance right here in this game. Last minute.
20 seconds. Oh my. Oh my days!
I told you the celebration was coming out, and it did come out. What a goal! Once again, and the celebrations look in front of the painting. Wonderful.
Gio Bundy might have just snatched the World Championship ticket in the last kick of the game. We're in quite a special venue here in Amsterdam. It's a museum of art, and we might have just witnessed a masterpiece.
I can't stop laughing, Brandon. Honestly, I can't stop laughing. What was this game?
Gio Bundy. 8. It's not 8, it's 9. 9-8 winner. He's on his way to a World Championship. What an unbelievable matchup that is.
Wow, Brandon, wow. What can we say? Resilience. He went up once in that whole game. One time that he get the lead over Brent. And it's enough for him.
Well, that's his mum in the crowd as well, I believe, who will be so proud of her son and what he's been able to achieve. She has been on the journey with him. She has followed him through thick and thin. And look, what a game. If you've just tuned into the eDivisie tonight, good evening. Grab a drink, sit down, put your feet up, because that was only semi-final number 1. We've still got another semi-final and a grand final to come up today. 17 goals in our first game.
Thrilling. Just thrilling. I'm still shaking a little bit, Brandon. That was amazing. That was thrilling. Wonderful style of play also from Gio, I assume, right? Because he was trying to push every single time.
I sit here and I sound really harsh saying this, but for Brent Weerink, he can only look at himself. The amount of times he was in front of that game, Hakeem, he can only look at himself and look at the errors that he made defensively, because there's no excuse for him in a World Championship qualifying game that he's thrown away a lead where he should have never been in his position. This is the last moment again. We've literally played. It's literally the last kick of the game. What an extra pass that is from Hansen in to Meerham, and what a celebration.
It's a wonderful celebration, Brandon, indeed. And you can see they're hugging, and Jens is calling him to go back to his place to try and sit.
That was the moment again. We saw a World Championship ticket being used. We're on camera at the moment. We're just swapping commentators in. There you go. Right, Renzo, welcome back to...
Good to be back.
What did you just witness there, my friend? You're at the best seat in the house. You could sit and watch it live. What a start. What a way to qualify for the World Championship.
I'm still a bit starstruck, because at some point I was doing like an interview and Brent was 5-2 up or 5-3 up. And I was like, well, yeah, now I already know that Brent is in the final. Well, look what happened. Incredible scenery, and Gio Bundy, well deserved.
For Brent, though, as I was just saying to Hakeem there, he can only look at himself there. The amount of times, I mean, you've worked with so many players, you've played in the eDivisie, you've managed in the eDivisie, Renzo. I mean, if you were behind him there in those moments, what do you say after a game like that? Because it's himself that's made those mistakes of the difference of him not qualifying for a World Championship.
Yeah, and I think that's the worst as well, the worst feeling. Also, as a coach, you can just sit behind there, and hopefully he did get the call as just keep the ball, because especially in the end he lost the ball, but they both lose it like 3 or 4 times in the 90th minute, in the 120th minute. It kept on happening. Yep. Yeah, he's gonna be devastated, and obviously that last goal by Gio was incredible. Like, you can't defend that, but yeah, Brent will be so angry with himself, I can imagine.
Well, look, here's the reason why we went to extra time in the first place. He was 2 goals down with 6.5 minutes left on the clock.
Which is still long.
Which is a long time in 9.5, we know.
And obviously we do know that in the AFC 25 goals can come quickly. But yeah, obviously here you ideally wanted to have slowed down the game. And especially right here, as you can see. Why is that fullback pushed up so much? Well, Gio is going to say thank you. 5-4, 88 minute. And yeah, just again, like this is the goal that, well, in the end, we saw happening in extra time, as we're going to see probably in a bit or so. But it's just that great run from the midfield and passing it one time before, just utilizing that run from Rodri perfectly.
Absolutely. Well, as we said, congratulations, Gio Bundy. You're not just in a grand final tonight here in Amsterdam, you're in an FC Pro World Championship. It's a great example of a player that has just been knocking on the door for some time. His third time in a top four, his third season in the eDivisie, was knocked out in the semi-finals the last 2 times before tonight. He's gone an extra step further. He's qualified for an ECL again. And as we said, what a result, 17 goals. In case you missed it, wind it back and go and watch it. Extra time match winner from Almere City. I mean, the good news is we've got another semi-final coming up with 2 players that you might know a little bit more about.
I have no idea.
Know a lot about them. Chris de Boer and Levi de Veer, 2 players, of course, that have come through the famous Team Hullet, the talent factory that they are. Levi de Veer has already qualified for a World Championship, which you were part of. That happened
that was
quite some time ago.
FC Pro Open, we almost forgot.
Which basically means, by the way, that Chris de Boer has already qualified for the World Championships, regardless of what happens in this game. But for the 2 of them, it's a chance to get into a grand final and obviously play for the title here tonight. Yeah,
and it's going to be a very interesting game because obviously the experience from Levi and him also being crowned twice as eDivisie champion already, and Chris de Boer just knocking on the door this year. Honestly, last year wasn't that great, and we were like, okay, what level can he actually reach? This year coming in, well, very hot with winning the European West qualifier, now facing Levi in that semi-final. However, we're still just going to quickly show you guys what happened during extra time.
7 goals we saw in extra time, by the way.
Yeah, it was funny as well, because I think when Brent actually scored his 5th goal, I said to Dani Visser, who's doing the Dutch stream, I said, well, Brent is capable of making this game 7-7, just joking around. Well, we're actually going to see that scoreline in a couple of minutes. As you can see here, Gio was just about, or just scored the 6-6, and, well, just great attacking play from both players, to be honest. 7-6 here for FC Twente, and we're looking at each other right now. When this happened, like, okay, Brent is going to take it, right? Well, kickoff in the second half of extra time. Gio Bundy twisting, turning, finding that finesse of Vinicius Jr., which I'm pretty sure you commentated better than I did, especially when the finesse came. However, yeah, this is just 7-7. And I was like, is it done? Is it done? No, it's not. 8-7, 112 minutes. Brandon, this is what you asked me. Right now, slow down the game. Slow down the game. No, 2 minutes later already. Looking at another chance for Gio Bundy.
In that exact moment, I said to Hakeem about the words of, if you are Brent Weerink there, about just, you've learned from the normal 90 minutes about keeping possession, looking after possession. You don't do it. You invite yourself back in this scenario and speak about ice in the veins, the clutch moments. Gio Bundy there, just...
Can somebody show me that pass, like that last pass? It looks offside. It does look offside.
Calling for a VAR check?
Yeah, I'm calling it. I'm calling the VAR check, to be honest there. But no, great execution from Gio. Like I said as well, like I think it was the 5-4 that he scored almost the same goal with Rodri with that run. Great play, and especially, like you said, eyes in the veins. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I'd never did so.
No, it requires a lot, isn't it, from a player at that level. People asking in the chat, what happens with the other World Cup ticket? Well, basically, the World Championship ticket will go to Chris de Boer, because Levi de Veer has already qualified for the World Championships, which a lot of these Dutch players, funny enough, were quite happy about. When they saw him in the FC Pro Open, they were cheering for him. They were all watching together, I believe, online in those crazy matches he had, because he's taken a World Championship ticket technically away from the competition. It's
pretty much.
Or given one back, I should say.
Given one back.
So this year in the Netherlands, there's a great opportunity for a lot of players that we would probably never really get to see, Renzo, play in the eChampions League and now in the World Championships.
Yeah, let's be honest. Obviously, with the situation that we saw compared to last year, where it was 2v2 and you had this dominant side of PSV Eindhoven and AFC Ajax with PHC, Manuel, Emre, and Levi, like, well, not in that order, but all teaming up. And right now, for a guy like Gio, for a guy like Brent, to make the ECL is already big, but now for Gio to reach that World Championship, I mean, yeah, it was not something that I bet you can ask them. They would have said they were going to make this season. And especially for Chris as well. Like, he was always that guy behind Emre, Manuel.
It's difficult to get in front of them, isn't it, when they're winning what they are at Team Hullet? Well, look, this links in nicely to what we're about to be taking a little look at, Renzo. You've been involved this year a lot more than I have on the ground here in the Netherlands with the eDivisie, seeing the talents come through. You see a great part of doing that at Team Hullet as well, bringing those youngsters through. I believe we've got an award to give out for Talent of the Year. These are the 3 nominees. Talk to me about them, and I mean, who do you think's been the star out of the 3?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, throughout the season, when especially at the start, I was looking at Luc, who is representing Willem II right here on the left, and he is actually like incredible, like in terms of how he's attacking display, is always showing incredible defensive, well, how do you say it, like patience as well, like those last-ditch tackles. However, if we look at Chris, and obviously I can't be a fair judge on that, he came second right now in the semi-finals, but Sven, the guy that we saw on the right, Nagbreda, nobody knew him, nobody really heard of him, just came there, rocked like the first, I remember his first game, he was 3-0 down at one point, and he just won like 7-3 or something. And that was his entry. We saw crazy games. So
I think he needs another season, and then next season come back and show what he's about.
For me, honestly, as let's say I would be scouting for talent, he's not there yet, but he is a dangerous-looking player. And arguably, because we knew Luc, we knew Chris, he could be very much the talent of the year.
Yeah. But if we can, we're going to be seeing very shortly who's been able to win that Talent of the Year award, as you said. It sounds like Sven had the breakout season overall, and we're hearing right now in our ear that the winner of Talent of the Year is Sven. There you go. Congratulations to him. I mean, he's done enough. He isn't here tonight at the finals of this year's eDivisie, but as you said, what a year, what a breakout year for him. There's a number of awards that the eDivisie gives out year after year here,
of course,
which does enough to encourage players to keep on pushing forward. What are the missing parts of his game that he can come back next year and maybe make him into a slightly better player?
Well, I think he still needs to work a bit on the defensive end especially, and also the way of controlling games. Like, his games always felt like out of control, as I said, like 3-0.
Like the one we just saw.
Well, also like 6-all. It was at some point, I think, in one of the eDivisie match days at halftime. So, yeah, I mean, it's very entertaining to watch, but you know, as no other, you visit all these tournaments, you got to have some kind of defensive discipline at some point to bring out those games into your favor, like we just saw Brent do as well in against his favor, where, yeah, you're not controlling the game enough, like maybe a Nicolas, like a Levi sometimes do, and yeah, that is very entertaining to watch, but not as rewarding. So he does need to work on that especially.
Do you think we're going to see a very different next semi-final?
Normally, yes. The way that the pressure has is already taken off them for that World Championship spot, I think we might see a very entertaining and high-scoring game.
Just a bit more free-flowing, do you think?
Yeah, but I expect a very high level, to be honest, from both of them. Obviously, seen them play throughout the week, and you always see it. Like, I've seen a lot of players practice for the eDivisie the past weeks. The level was so high. When you do, especially look at the quarterfinals, I'm like, nobody is reaching that level yet. And for these two, no pressure, everything still to play for. I think we're going to see that level now.
Well, hey, let's have a look at the teams that they're going to be using for this game coming up. AZ Alkmaar up first with their player, Chris de Boer. He has qualified for the World Championships off the back of Levi de Veerd already being there. The spot drops down to him in the semi-final position. This is his team, and I mean, look, from someone who would have been involved in those team-building processes as well, Renzo, for these players to have unlimited budget, I mean, look, I'm going to sound crazy to say this, but is it in some ways a good thing? Because there isn't really a rule book to follow, so to speak. Maybe in other times when there's been a 9 million coin restriction, a 10 million coin restriction, it's different. People start to work towards the same kind of patterns. But here, you're kind of left on your own to a degree, and you kind of have to make your own big choices.
If I'm going to be honest here, unlimited budget is harder than working with a budget.
Which sounds crazy.
Yeah, which sounds crazy because you have all these players, obviously, all these items that you can try out, and, well, every single time you're looking like, okay, am I going to use Cruyff? Am I going to use Henry? Am I going to use R9? Am I going to... So, yeah, it's different and way harder, but like we saw there in Chris's squad, he's going with Johan Cruyff actually and R9, and then we look at Levy's squad and we see completely different.
Frankie de Jong winter wildcard gets a shout. I mean, chat, we can see you at home as well, wherever you're watching from. Give us one player who's a must-have in your team, a must-have in this unlimited budget coin team. So we're going to start welcoming our players out for the second semi-final. But you're right, just having the ability of using any player on the game, you're seeing, which I didn't think we'd see, actually quite a few differences in these teams.
Do you even notice, like on the bench, Zé Roberto? Like, where did you ever think of? Well, I have unlimited budget. Let me choose Zé Roberto on the bench. Like you probably.
He has got a lot of in-game stats to be.
Yeah,
fair.
to be fair, he does. But also that winter wildcards, Frankie de Jong probably doesn't come up to mind for a lot of people. But we do have one restriction here with the teams. We've got to have 3 Dutch players in. So, like I said, Chris chose, as we see the players walk out here, Levi looking locked in as always. I do recognize that face like no other, with his coach Nick Den Hamer about to enter the stage. And like I said, Chris, for example, then chooses for a player like Johan Cruyff, which to some people sounds very logical. And to Levi, I remember when he saw, is Chris using Cruyff? I said, yeah. Why? You know, he was like, how do you even come up? So this is what I mean. Like with the unlimited budget, it's so different, and every player looks different at other other FUT items, I should say, than the other ones. So it makes it incredibly hard.
Someone in the chat said Chris Wood. I don't know why you've said Chris Wood to come into your team.
That's a while ago that he was actually, he had a very interesting item. I think at the FIFA 23 World Championship, he was being used.
Falcons Mike in the chat saying R9. I mean, look, he's a very popular choice, isn't he? Foot birthday, Dino. I mean, that Rude Hullet.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, we can't use
SPCs.
Squad building challenge items.
Unfortunately, otherwise you would be in the team. Team of the year, Wendy Renard. Someone said in the chat for King Fury. I mean,
fair shout.
It's personal preference. It's personal preference. Frankie de Jong getting a lot of love in the chat as well. Again, SPCs aren't allowed in these restrictions. We can see you in the chat. And of course, Team of the Year, Vinicius
Who would you
Jr.
choose? First
It's so
item.
boring because one, I'm never ever going to get the chance to play with these players, Renzo. I just haven't got the coins or the pack luck to even back it up. But I'd have to just go and say, like, honestly, as boring as it is, it'd have to be R9.
Yeah,
it would be. The chance to use him for a day here competing would be a gift, let alone coming into my ultimate team. He might actually give me more than 7 wins in weekend league.
Yeah, without any bias, obviously, I would say no, but like R9 is just the must always. Every item he gets.
Does it not surprise you how consistently good he's been since 17 to now?
Yeah.
Every year, like even with all these players in the game, somehow EA or whoever helps with the items behind the scenes still make him as good as usable. It's mental.
It's actually crazy because, like you mentioned, let's say Thierry Henry was actually a very good item in FIFA 18.
Yeah.
You saw them in a lot of pro teams. Disappeared for a couple of years. Now we see him almost every game. We see a version of Thierry Henry. So to say that, well, when was the last time that you didn't see an R9 an entire day of FC competition? I can't remember that day, to be honest.
You're right, especially this year. I mean, someone in the chat saying Team of the Year Henry as well. He is so good. I'm sure tomorrow in the La Liga FC Pro, he's going to be involved in everyone's team.
Yeah, we're going to be there as well.
It's going to be a very early flight. Again, remember, tomorrow you'll be able to watch the La Liga FC Program finals live from Valencia. There's so many FC Pro leagues going on this weekend, next weekend, as we really start to get down to business of finding out who's going to qualify for the World Championships, that eChampions League, which is coming up very soon as well. Let us know as well, who do you think is going to win this game? AZ Alkmaar against Ajax Esports, Levi de Veer against Chris de Boer. What an opportunity this is for Levi tonight. I mean, Renzo, if he wins tonight, he'll be on par with Danny Hackerberg for the most ever eDivisie titles that anyone's ever won. He's won one for Vitesse. This would be his second for Ajax. He'd be the first player other than Danny Hackerberg to go back-to-back.
Yeah, and like I said, he would work more on his legacy, especially as a Dutch esports player. And for Chris, this could be the start of a legacy. So his stakes are incredibly high. Meanwhile, they're also very low. Yeah. As they have their spots, they sealed all their tickets. This is just for bragging rights, prize money, and that legacy. Brandon, put you on the spot. AZ or Ajax?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think you're going to say Levi.
I'm going to say Levi, yeah.
Yeah, and you can't ask me this question.
I can't, can I? Because you're the man that's going to give me the insight on these two and why they are so talented as they are. Ken, if you don't know Renzo's backstory, heavily involved with Team Hullet, has the pleasure of working closely with Levi de Veerd and also the up-and-coming talents in there. I don't want to call it a boot camp, a HQ. There's just a...
Yeah, HQ is fine.
A HQ of just...
We have our online HQ
talented FC Pro players. Here we go then, semi-final number 2, which we'll see. Hazen Alkmaar against AFC Ajax, Chris de Boer against Levi de Veerd. Both have qualified for the eChampions League, both have qualified for the World Championships. But only one of them can book a spot in this year's Grand Final. Here's a cut back. Oh, hello!
That is a very, very weird mistake to see Levi make, especially this early in the game. However, Chris completely capitalizing on that. Vinicius Junior, that item, Team of the Year, Vinicius Junior, finesse shot, playstyle plus. Just magical from Chris there, honestly, making use of that mistake from Levi. And to be honest, Brandon, I don't even think Levi touched the ball there, except for that mistake then. But Chris taking his first possession to an optimal succession.
Well, speaking to Chris earlier today, because one of the few games that Levi has lost in the eDivisie, one of them was to Chris de Boer earlier on in the season, which was obviously a bit of a,
I can tell you.
Which was a bit of a shock because, correct if I'm wrong, Renzo, there was 2 occasions this year in the eDivisie where on goal difference it separated Levi basically booking a spot in the finals earlier on into the season. There was 2 moments. I think it was maybe Q1 and Q3 where he was goal difference away from finishing top of the period.
Yep.
But his consistency allowed him to still qualify for this top 8.
Yeah, which is also, especially when I talked to Levi about it, like he was not happy. Like he even talked about it in post-match interviews during the eDivisie season. He was not happy with his performance during this regular season. Came in the eDivisie finals placed as the 3rd seed, which to his likings, it should have been number 1 seed. He should have won a period title, and neither of those happened. So, yeah, that just added a bit up to the, well, maybe some hidden anger that he wants to unleash here in the eDivisie finals by completely overwhelming his opponents. But however, right now,
how important is it to him to have that Dutch pride and that legacy, though? Because, look, he's achieving so much outside of the Netherlands, but to still do well here, he could be 2-0 down. What a save, Van der Sar. It seems like, I was speaking to him earlier today, look, this is, for him, a game where there really isn't, to some ways, oh my, he's 2-0 down.
Wow.
I'll be quiet a second, because Levi de Veerd finds himself 2-0 down in a semi-final.
That is crazy from Chris. Honestly, he worked his way through very well. And whenever Levi probably thought, okay, there's not that much space, player locks quickly to Vinicius Junior, walks inside the area and just finds that easy cutback, it looks like. But that was actually very well done by Chris. And yeah, we've just seen it again, where the guy that starts off this semi-final is just quickly going away from the opponent and taking the lead to 2-0. Are we going to see that comeback again? That is the question. As Levi here trying to build up some confidence now, taking his time on this attack and making sure that he will be able to get his way back, find his way back in his final. As we can see here, maybe a fortunate bounce. Doesn't quite happen. Edwin van der Sar picks that one up. One of the Dutch players that Chris de Boer obviously chose, as it's a very easy pick if you have to choose 3 Dutch players. As we can see right here, losing possession on the right-hand side. Can Levi finally get something going? Doesn't really look like. And Chris de Boer here actually with the nice build-up from Xavi to Ram. As we see a pause, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw this earlier today, didn't we, with Gio Bundy. I mean, you get to see it through a different lens than maybe what viewers at home do or me as a commentator do. We know that there are moments where the gameplay doesn't feel nice or a player just isn't in the right headspace. Gio Bundy, to be 3-0 down on a few moments in that last game and then to still come back and take the game to extra time and to get over those mental barriers where there's so much frustration, anger. How hard is that to do for a pro player, especially in a World Championship qualifying game?
Yeah, it's very hard to do, and like that was very impressive. However, I'm also still mentioning the fact that he was, first of all, obviously complaining about some gameplay issues and stuff like that. To Levi and to any player at Team Khalil right now, we always say, like, don't even start thinking about it. As we can see here, Levi probably pressed the pause to just reset.
To pull away from R9 here.
He does miss that chance, but like I said, Brandon, this is not something that you want to focus your attention on. As you can see, Gio was complaining, but he brought it back, and that was not because anything changed. It's his mental barrier that changed.
Well, there's the pause now. We're going to have a little listen if we can. And your job's to translate, but I'm guessing Levy's saying the words of I can't move or I can't do anything.
Pretty much. He's just solely complaining right now about that he can't switch. So offensively he's saying it's fine, but defensively he's not feeling himself, and I'm not going to lie. Well, right now he's trying to get a referee involved, I guess. But it's very unlikely, the gameplay that I'm seeing right now. As I'm just listening in right here.
Zeg maar niet te doen. Maar de kans dat ik nu ga winnen met dit is echt 0%. Want zijn spelers zijn gewoon sneller. Ik kan gewoon niet verdedigen.
I've seen a few of the highlights there. Renzo, what's he saying exactly? If you can keep it PG, if there was any un-PG in there.
No. It was actually very well worded, but I think... Yeah. I want to stay away from him getting angry at me, but I think he's losing his head a little bit too early right now. But he's saying that he won't be able to win this game at all, given the current circumstances. And this is something, like I said, that the players shouldn't focus on, especially as we saw Gio also having this moment for a second where you feel like everything is just gliding out of your hands and everything is against you. And being 2-0 down in that situation. However, nothing changed. We just continued the game. What happened? He still made that comeback. So definitely I can tell as well right now that they are going to restart this game. I'm not sure if that's going to change something, but for Levi, this is a victory all let alone right now, because he got kind of what he wanted in that case.
Well, in some ways, look, it does happen in moments like this where the game will reset, and if anything, it's in your mind for him something to say, look, I've reset the game. I've tried to sort out the issue.
Just a second. It was 2-0. I thought Chris scored, but it was offside, right?
I only saw 2-0.
Yeah. Was it offside?
I don't think, what, for 3-0?
Yeah. I remember seeing the goal fly in because stuff was happening around us for a second. And I thought like that's why Levi was complaining that he was going to lose this game and it was 3-0, but probably is 2-0 then. So still everything to play for once again. And Levi is actually right now still talking to Chris. Obviously these guys are teammates, so they're not trying to be hard on each other in this case. That's why probably Chris chose to just reset the game. However, Brandon, we keep seeing these kind of conversations happen a lot at the tournaments, unfortunately. But like I said, those mental barriers are also very challenging. So we're just going to take a brief look again at Levi to step away from that situation. His squad that he is using, well, right now, his defense is not working.
No.
So arguably, would you change something going into that second, that second start of the game?
I mean, there's one option, isn't there, on the bench? He's an icon. It's Paolo Maldini that's staring you at the face. Also, imagine your team being that good that you've got just a 97 rated Pele on the bench with 99 pace. 98 pace, and he's just sitting there waiting to be used.
Well,
Team of the year, Vinicius Junior. There's so many options.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. That Davies right now, fine, he can stay there. What is happening right now? Levy's constantly triggering Davies, losing possession, giving away space to Chris, who's utilizing that too easy right now on that right-hand side. Let's see if that is going to change. Right now, if Levy will still keep triggering his fullbacks and if he's going to get punished for that, or if it's actually right now, because he might play a little bit better in possession, going to work for him.
If someone else got a bit of time that's watching at home, let us know how many coins exactly that team is worth that you just saw on the screen from Levi de Veer.
What should be around 60 million?
Oh, just 60 million coins.
There again, loses possession. Great tackle by Thuram, who actually I haven't seen a lot of. I knew that Chris was using him.
Well, if this becomes 3 for Chris de Boer, he said earlier on the back of his point that he's only beaten Levi de Veer in the regular league season. That was quite some time ago in the winter months last year. But he said in practice especially, Renzo, there's not a better player than Levi de Veer. He is so good, he's so on point, and his words were, I just can't get near him in practice.
Especially if you ask some of the pro players at events, sometimes it happened in the past that beforehand almost, I guess, 80-90% of the players said, yeah, Levy's the best player, Levy's the best player, Levy's the best player, because they practiced against him. And then, unfortunately, during the tournament, at some point, he will always find his kryptonite, which the latest FC Pro Open was Oberon, but here, Chris de Boer does not yet find himself being that kryptonite, because Levy is scoring 2-1 there. And that reset right now, this is almost like as if Levy scored 2 goals already. Right now he feels like, okay, I made the right decision. I made that complaint to reset my mind, to maybe get into Chris's mind a little bit, score that 2-1, game's on.
Game on indeed. Levi de Veer back in this one. He was a champion last year of this competition via a penalty shootout. His teammate as well, believe it or not, about them, was PH Zin. This time he's on his own with one mission, to be a back-to-back champion in an Ajax shirt, a club that he loves. In fact, actually has a season ticket for the club.
Yeah, he does.
Found out that he actually gets 3 tickets every game.
Yeah, he does.
Doing everything I can to maybe get a freebie next time.
Yeah, should have been in a different weekend. Unfortunately, they play away tomorrow. We couldn't have made it anyway. However,
not a bad contract to have though for him, is it?
No, it's not. He's all right. Don't worry about him. Anyways, worry more about his gameplay right now, as Levy is starting to find his passes a little bit better. Still triggering that Davies little kick-ups there from Aitana. Not intended, I suppose. Cafu here, and again, that fullback creating space, overlapping. This is looking good from Levy. Getting to the back line.
Hang on a second, Levi de Veer looking for an equaliser. He decides to go back.
Yeah, that was
quite a negative fashion there.
Yeah, that was a weird decision.
People in the chat asking about upgrades and whatnot. For all the games you're watching tonight, you've joined us for the semi-final stages, so upgrades have happened for the players that you are questioning, the likes of Martins, Indy, of AZ Alkmaar, because Chris de Boer is in this semi-final game, and because he's won a game, that's a top 4 and a +1. Martins Indy becomes 92 rated, and also Van der Bummen of
Ajax
will also be a 92 rated player. So whether you've backed Levy before for a Wout Weghorst or a Van der Bummen, you'll be happy to know that you'll be on your way to a couple of upgrades tonight.
As we see Levy here finding space there with Salah, however well defended from Chris. Johan Cruyff here. Chris right now trying to really get something going after this restart, because beforehand he was definitely more dominant in attack, and well, scoreline did reflect that as well. However, he was by far better than Levy, at least in terms of possession, creating chances. Right now, not looking like it. Didn't really create anything. So he's taking it a bit slower here, and right now Cruyff just might give an opportunity. That's Rodri.
You mentioned earlier about the Cruyff decision of Chris de Boer there, and Levy saying, why did he take Cruyff? Is that just from a point of view that Levy doesn't think he's good enough, or?
Well, I mean, it's also based on the formation that they play. Chris is rocking 4-4-2 right now, potentially switching to a 4-4-1-1. Levy is playing a 4-5-1 formation, whereas Levy is using Aitana to have that I think she's probably got the best dribbling in the game, and Cruyff is more used as that give and go player, where
hang on a second, just offside.
Just there, R9 just offside, and Chris likes to do those first time through balls a lot, so he just passes it to Cruyff, gets it to R9, and Levy takes it a bit more slow, so he can't really utilize Cruyff as good as he could utilize Aitana with the technical dribbling especially. However, 45th minute.
No added time by the looks of it. No.
Probably because of the restart. However, 2-1. Game's on. Nothing to worry about for neither party. No celebrations yet at Alkmaar. No celebrations, especially in Amsterdam, because Levy still's got a job to do.
Well, that's his dad in the crowd as well for Levy de Veerd, who is probably the most passionate supporters of Lev I've ever seen. I've seen him on social media before when things haven't been going his way, but also he is here, there and everywhere. He sort of travels with his son, doesn't he? And he's a massive part of all he does.
He's been around the world as well. Like literally when we had the FIFA World Championships in Saudi Arabia, he was there. He's obviously a very important part of Levy's career as well, supporting him a lot and definitely supporting the cause of becoming a pro esports player. As well, what happened right there, not really sure of, because it looked like for a second that defender was definitely not able to reach the attacker anymore. But Chris making that clutch tackle just before Levy could actually get that shot on target.
Chris the Boer looking to try and cause a few problems for Levy de Veerd. He hasn't been able to do so much since the restart in the game. For those asking about it, there was a few question marks from Levy about how the gameplay was feeling, so to speak. So between the two of them, they agreed for just a restart from the same minute. Possession stayed the same, who was in possession. And as you were saying, Renzo, it couldn't have been a better restart for Levy, because he scored instantly.
Especially because you can tell that Chris is really not knocking at Liv's door anymore. And like he built the confidence of it, as Aitana there, right there with that dribbling. Salah.
Hang on a second, Mohamed Salah. Is he going to run that one out of play or not?
Doesn't quite manage to find the space.
Here's a chance. Finesse from distance. Parries that one around the corner, off the woodwork again, and then that deflection goes wayward. That one was probably his best chance in the second half so far, Renzo, to tie the game up at 2-2.
Yeah, huge chance there for Levy. However, Chris, right now he really needs to get something going, because it's slowly starting to turn in the favor of Levy as
around the goalkeeper, yes he can, Van der Sar!
You can see the complaints from Levy's father. Definitely not happy with that one, but on top there, Chris's mother and his brother actually does celebrate that one. And Chris really needed it, and this very clinical display thus far from Chris, because like we said, after the restart, he didn't really get anything going, scoring 2 goals before that. That's just a very hard way for Levy to learn that you gotta use those chances to perfection, as Chris does right here. Good goal from R9, and we talked about that FUT item already, Brandon, but can't deny the skill of R9. If you have him in front of goal, just get it on target, literally. 5-5, like what, 99 finishing in game stats? Crazy card.
He is the player that costs all the coins, and for a valid reason.
Hang on. Levy here from kickoff. Always a bit of a dangerous situation.
Speaking of R9, he's involved in that one. Frankie de Jong was the striker in that scenario.
Not the ideal situation for Frankie to be in that position, but...
I mean, he's got 99 passing, not 99 shooting, has he?
Exactly. Might have wanted to ping that one back over to R9 after receiving it. However, AZ Alkmaar, and right now I think we'll probably see the game increase a little bit in pace. Players will tend to go a bit more quickly forward, especially from Levy's side.
A few people asking about the Spanish upgrades again. That's tomorrow. We are back live again on the EA Sports FC page for the La Liga FC Program Finals. That is live tomorrow in Spain. There's more upgrades there, but all eyes tonight are on the Dutch eDivisie. Those 4 upgrade items it is only Martins Indy and Van der Boomen that will be getting those upgrades. In Bombay and Sebastian Haller will not be going above a 90 rated item because those two players unfortunately didn't win their quarter-final games. Levy there can't twist with R9, that was the idea. Well recovered defensively by Virgil van Dijk, and then another pause comes in for Levy. It's just for Chris now. If you're in this scenario and you're on the side of Chris, don't let him have that pause.
No.
If he's going to have it, he's getting in the 80th minute.
Exactly. Just control possession right now. That's all that Chris needs to do, or just maybe go for another. Well defended there by Saliba. And now Levy will be looking to strike back quickly, maybe. Taking his time a little bit. R9 there, speed boost, doesn't quite manage to get away from his defender. As I can tell you there, right there was that moment.
Half volley.
Oh. Chris de Boer. And there was that first time L1 through ball with Johan Cruijff. Oh, it's not looking great for Levy. His father's definitely not happy with that one either.
Ronaldo Nazario makes it 4-1. And suddenly, this eDivisie season is just going to give us another completely different ending that no one honestly would have expected. We've seen new names this year come out and qualify themselves for an eChampions League. We've seen new names come out and qualify themselves for a World Championship.
And also our predictions can completely go in the bin right now as it stands. Both of us didn't even expect this one to happen either. However, Chris looking very solid right now, and Levy really needs to change something up. 4-1 scoreline. About 26, 25 minutes going on still to play for. But it's not looking great. Levy also not really creating as many chances. And Chris has scored every single one of them, I think.
That's the difference, isn't it? Even when he's been slightly against the run of play and things haven't been going his way, the fact that he's still been able to make the most of every chance he's had at this level, Renzo, is the biggest difference, right?
Yeah, something he can already be very proud of, to be honest. But let's see what's in store for us still in this game as he's breaking through again with Cruijff. Twisting and turning. Salah.
Rodri, you're looking for Vinicius at the back post who
was covered. Just one too much. Wins the ball back quickly. Oh, Cafu. Just pushing him over there like nothing.
18 minutes away from the defending champions of last year, Ajax, being eliminated.
Yeah, and that would be a shock, I think, for this entire room. However, Levy right now trying to find that pass. R9, Vinicius.
One, surely, what a tackle. What a tackle.
My God. Chris. Yeah, did you just hear what Levy said as well? That is crazy. And it really was. That was an amazing slide tackle.
It's so brave, isn't it? Because you get that wrong, it's a straight red card, and suddenly your last 15 minutes or so look really nervy.
Oh my, Alphonso Davies it was as well. Not the player that I would try to take a slide tackle with. Oh, that was an incredible defense by Chris. But don't blink on this corner kick because, well, I can tell you that Levy's worked on his corner kicks a lot, so let's see what he does make of it. Rodri there, Saliba, and there. Ooh, Edwin van der Sar. Pressure building up on Levy right now. As he only's got 16 in-game minutes plus some extra time added on to that. And it's Chris de Boer actually right now who can be dangerous. Ooh. Yeah, it's starting to get chaotic right now. Quick loss of possession from both teams. Chris right now does
get one more goal. It is done. Vinicius!
Come on!
Which he does fine. 5-1 to AZ Alkmaar's Chris de Boer against Ajax's Levy de Weert.
Well, he only turned 18 last week, Chris de Boer. And that might be quite the birthday present for him. It might be late.
That is incredible.
But he won't care. And it will be deja vu, unfortunately, for Levy de Weert. The player that beat him in the regular season 3-1 will knock him out of the tournament in a semi-final.
Surely. It's not done yet, but surely.
You'd like to say, sure. Look at the gap of goals, Renzo. Look at the lack of time.
I'm not. I'm just saying. Surely, we've seen crazier things happen, but it's going to be very difficult. He needs one right now. As Vinicius, the speed boost, it's not working for Levy for some reason, and can't put my hand on it, but does look like he is struggling, at least himself, or any of the issues that he might have mentioned before. But Chris is actually playing exquisite FC at this point. So we see a lovely spin there from Levy. Alfonso Davies, player lock. Can he get something?
Time tricking away again. Only 10 minutes left now.
It's hard to see, actually, right now, how Levy seems to be struggling to get anything going right now. Inner self want to shout something at him right now, but however, Chris is playing really, really well. Defending, amazing, gotta be honest.
Well, this is a real hard moment for Levy now, because look, he's had a great start to the year. He qualified for the World Championships back in February. He picked up momentum in the league and got himself into this position. He won his quarter-final earlier today, which was enough to qualify him for an eChampions League again. But now he's in a bit of an odd one, because he's got, what, a couple of weeks now to come off the back of this result, Renzo. You two, and of course Nick Dehama, have got to try and work together and work out a plan of how you're going to go back into the Champions League and put things right.
Yep, yeah, 100%. That's just the story right now for Levy, unfortunately. He's just got to obviously let this result settle in, and let's be honest, Chris de Boer, what a season. Final of the eDivisie is, well,
I think he was top 8. He was top 8 last year.
Yep.
In his first ever eDivisie season. Of course, he's only 18 years of age. I mean, that was probably one of his first breakout years last year. I mean, Team Hullet picked him up as a talent all that time ago, and he's gone strength to strength, and he's qualified not just for a grand final tonight, not just for an eChampions League, but a World Championship as well. He's only 18 years of age.
Yeah, this is a turnaround of events that I didn't expect to happen, especially given last year, where Chris, he showed the raw talent still, but like it was raw, and I didn't see that coming this season already at this high level, where he would be able to show that talent, what he's actually made of. And as I almost saw a 6 there, this is a very strong display, and we're now 100% sure going to see a KPN eDivisie final between Gio Bundy and Chris de Boer. At the start of the season, if you would have said that, I think no one in this entire Rijksmuseum would have believed you or would have backed you up with that prediction.
I have to agree. And even with the the disperse of Mani Bature and Emre Yilmaz, PAG, there was still so much talent in there, but you would not have predicted this to be your grand final this year. But it is happening.
Yes, these are the most painful minutes for Levy, are ticking away. Obviously knowing that even if he scores right now, it doesn't matter anything. Just try to get one here as he does. 5-2 is going to be our end score, I guess so.
Well, Xavi, it won't be more than a consolation goal, unfortunately, for Ajax. They will be eliminated.
Yep.
And Ajax will not be lifting that trophy.
He's complaining a lot. He's complaining a lot as well right now. I don't really think...
What's he saying?
Well, just complaining in general about anything right now. He did just mention, though, that Chris is playing a great game. So, fair play to him. That's what he said. But obviously, he's very disappointed right now. And you have to feel for these guys as well. Like, whoever's on the losing end, they bring out their families, go to the Rijksmuseum. It's he said did congratulate him and like good sportsmanship and all the end, but obviously it's a very painful one for him as well. As we see Chris de Boer, his family stand up as he does advance to the finals. And let's be honest, I am quite happy for him. Obviously, Levy is my prodigy, as I'd like to call it. He's my kid almost.
What a moment,
I do feel for him, but what a moment for Chris. And yeah, let's see who's gonna win that eDivisie final.
And look, as crazy as it sounds and as harsh as it sounds, there has to be these moments in the scene, Renzo, where these new players can come through and have their moment on the big stage. And I think we've got that to a degree in this grand final. It's a bit of an age gap between the two players. Don't get me wrong, Gio Bundy, he's been around for quite some time. He's about 26 now. On the other side for Chris de Boer, he's only 18 years of age. His second time playing in the eDivisie. And, I mean, look, this is going to be a really, really exciting grand final. Only one of them can call themselves this year's eDivisie champion. It'll be the first ever time that one of these two clubs would have won the eDivisie as well. Alongside that, €20,000 awaits one of these two players.
I have a fun fact for you as well. Gio, actually, before the quarterfinals started today, he said to me, Renzo, I'm retiring. I said, when? After this game. I said, after this game. So he also mentioned the quarterfinal.
Okay.
Said, after this game. I said, why? Yeah, I'm just not going to play anymore. I said to him, and it sounds crazy because it was just also to kind of take away that feeling from him. But I said, and what if you make the World Championship today? What is going to happen then? Yeah, I'll still retire because it's not going to happen. So, Gio
Bundy,
are you going to retire?
I think Gio Bundy might be having an extra year contract or two from his esports team.
Continue to his career a little bit longer. But yeah, it's crazy, and especially right now, facing Chris de Boer, he could actually lift that championship because, yeah, odds are similar, 50-50. Let's just enjoy the final in a bit or so.
Amazing stuff. Well, as we said, let's have a look back at the semi-final, because this semi-final was very different to the last one. This was a 5-2 win for AZ Alkmaar and Chris de Boer. The other semi-final had 17 goals in it, and it finished 9-8 in the end. We had 7 goals in extra time. 7 goals in 30 minutes. I mean, that's pretty unheard of.
That's crazy. But yeah, we do know that FC 25 can deliver a lot of goals, especially goal-scoring opportunities, as we saw. Second minute already, 1-0 to Chris. 9th minute, as Salah was struggling to control this ball, but we definitely could tell that Chris came to conquer this semi-final, as in the 10th minute, he does find that brilliant player lock. Putting Levy on the back seat there, or in the back foot, 2-0 down. The restart of the game was here, and then 2-1. So we're thinking.
He scores at that point. He's maybe back in the game.
We said as well, well, I said that actually. This might have felt like 2 goals for Levy, because he took the restart, scored the goal, loses possession here, and does find himself 3-1 down. And that's not great. As, well, 3-1 down, only 25 minutes to play with. It's just not looking great. Not looking great, and it was only going to get worse as this half volley, not going to lie, that is a crazy finish from R9. As meanwhile, we, are trying to organize something else for you right now. R9 right here, just sealing the deal. 5-1 it is to Chris de Boer, booking himself that spot into the final of the KPN eDivisie. Wasn't just over yet. One more chance for Levy to kind of get that, consolation goal, not really, not even for his pride. He's just scoring 5-2. That was all she wrote. And Chris de Boer advancing to the final, and we're here with Hakim, who just offered Brandon some rest, I guess.
Yes, casually switching in for Brandon. So
yeah, it's just like nothing. We just did like this, and
that's quite big shoes to fill right now, being in Brandon's position, obviously, after that game.
Honestly, I do feel myself also like whenever something is happening, I will just be like, do you? You know, it's crazy like how that guy commentates. It's very hard. But anyway, Hakim, this KPN eDivisie final is an odd one. However, what also is an odd one is whoever scored the goal of the season, or is it? Because, well, we're used to some magic of that person, right? You know who I'm talking about. We're going to see the first, hopefully, who get nominated for the goal of the season. Yeah, as we can see right here, this is the one goal that especially I was talking about during when it happened. It's just Ali Riza Aygun with that beautiful roulette. Beautiful. And that little chip from Thierry Henry. Look at it again. Yeah, it was a 6-1. This was his, we almost thought farewell goal. But it wasn't just yet because he didn't play the playoffs. And look at this one.
That's a power shot as well, right?
That's a power shot.
That is a power shot. Levi Arler, actually, as we did mention Levi, that got nominated, but this is Levi Arler, who's playing for Fortuna Sittard, scoring that crazy power shot bicycle kick, which was in a bit of the earlier days of FC, where we saw the power shots being very effective. And yeah, I mean,
Chris de Boer is cooking. He's cooking, and he's cooking again.
yeah. This was kind of the story of Chris de Boer's eDivisie in 2025, like scoring and Trivella from, well, this is not even in the same stadium anymore almost, and he's just got himself that nomination for the goal of the season. But we're just gonna find out who actually did end up winning that goal of the season.
It was a crazy Trivella, honestly, that last one. But for me personally, when it talks about skill set, I think that power shot, that bicycle power shot, is actually more intense because you have to green time a power shot, so you don't always know how it's going to end up.
No.
And then on top of that, it's being a bicycle kick. So I think that skill-wise might be one of the hardest to pull off.
It was my favorite one as well. However, I'm a bit of a sentimental person as well. Seeing Ali back at that point, which I thought was his last and final moment in the eDivisie, scoring that typical, like, if you could define Ali's playstyle, it would be like doing a Zidane roulette at his final stage, which he did end up doing. So for me, that's that's the favorite. So let's take a look. Hakim.
Let's see. Let's announce the winner right here. We are experiencing this as the people at home on live. So we are trying to see who's going to win the Goal of the Year awards. It's going to Ali Riza Aygun.
The
Who
roulette.
else?
The roulette.
And as you said, it's typical. It's vintage Ali Riza Aygun.
Yeah.
For those that know Aygun, he's been in the scene for a while. He's been playing for a few years now. He's been gone for a year, then came back again, took the job at PSV. He's been loyal to his club as well. And I think it's more than just the goal itself. I think it's also like some sort of sentiment, obviously, like you said, that has to be taken into
100%.
account. But he was such a skillful player.
Oh yeah, it's always been a joy to watch Ali play, especially, and this goal, well, that's why he wins goals of the season. Honestly, very hard to play against, very frustrating to play against because
You'll know about that.
Yeah, at all times he can put you out there like you're just somebody that doesn't know how to play FIFA. However, that considered, let's take a look at who actually does end up giving a good fight up against Ali, or putting a good fight up. Because let's take a look at the Player of the Year nominees.
So next to our Goal of the Year, we'll have the Player of the Year, which will be between Levi de Weert, Colin Dekkers, and Max Kulemai. So obviously Max finished first in the season, the regular season. Also won the first periodic champion. Both of the other ones, they didn't win a periodic champion, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Levi didn't win one, and Colin did win one, actually.
The last one,
so
right?
Yeah, Colin won the last one. So yeah, given those circumstances, Levi should have won one, but he lost twice on like goal difference, the period title.
He's been
Given
consistent.
but like the regular season performance for me, it was incredible what Max showed. Colin, I don't think. Sorry, Colin. I don't think you really should be up there as the player of the season.
Well, why not? Because in the end, he was consistent throughout these different. Because I do think he finishes somewhere in the top 5. I think in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check my notes.
I think
he was sixth.
He
was sixth.
Yeah. So
he lost 2 games. Come on.
Yeah, but there are so many players like that finished above you as well that could have been nominated.
I get that, but I do think also with this tournament coming in, he was the player that, for me personally, I thought this year, and we've been saying that for multiple years with Colin, actually.
Yeah.
But for me, this year was like the year he can really, really, really make that difference right now, and he needs the confidence. And coming in today, he didn't deliver as we wanted.
Okay. Let me rephrase it. He can be nominated, but against Levi's all-known greatness performances throughout, and especially against Max's literal performances, it is literally for me just one guy that can win this, and that is Max.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see, but I did hear that we have the winner already, so we might have to see who's going to be the player of the year of this KPN eDivisie season once again, and we're going to see it right on our screen right now. It's Levi de Weert.
It's Levi de Weert, and he's won the KPN Player of the Year for the KPN eDivisie. in season 24-25. Congratulations to Levy. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure actually that he's really not looking forward actually to this moment. However, given the current circumstances, hopefully he does take this award to heart and well deserved. So, to be honest, and I am a Levy fanatic. I mean, I have to.
You're
be.
a Levy bias.
I am.
I'll say
yeah,
Levy
but
bias.
I literally said I think Max, in my opinion, did deserve it because of his regular season performance. Especially the vote was before the finals actually concluded, because that is today. So yeah, congratulations to Levy. But I think this one is not going to get a very prominent spot, unfortunately, in his trophy cabinet.
I don't think so, but he still has a few tournaments to go, right? He still has the World Championship, still has the eChampions League. So for him, there are some more opportunities to show himself and maybe win a
100%.
tournament there. I do think he's looking forward to that one. Now, if we're looking at the games that already happened, Renzo. So for you personally, looking back, we have our finalists. Obviously, we have Gio Bundy. On the other side, we have, I'm forgetting
Chris.
the name, there was Chris de Boer. do you know what the score was during the regular season? I'm just going to try and test you.
Ooh.
Because I did have to check it up myself. I didn't know by heart, but I checked it.
Oh, what a question. I think they drew.
It was close. 1 goal difference. 3-2 victory for Almere City's
Was
Gio
it?
Bundy.
Ah.
So now they have to go in again. And we do know about Gio, who won the game against Twente as well.
Yeah.
During the regular season, and now again in extra time. So we might see some switches around
yeah,
here, so it's going to be close.
I'm not going to lie, just before we entered this beautiful stage, I saw Levy's parents, I saw Chris' parents, where we just saw heavily support their prodigies as well. Whenever I was talking to Chris's brother, I said, I think Gio is going to reach the final, and therefore I think he might win it if Chris reaches the final. If Levy reached the final, I would have said, okay, Levy has a very good chance of beating Gio.
It's different, right? It depends on your opponent, but also with Gio, you can never count him out. Even against Levy, although the chances would be maybe slimmer because they do know each other pretty well.
Especially, and also like just Gio always somehow loses his head a bit too early against Levy, and like not losing his head like we saw against Brent, but actually losing his head. Whereas against Chris right now, I think Gio right now also is thinking like, okay, bring it on. You know, I beat you regular season. However, have to be a little bit biased here. Chris de Boer, his level right now, I think it's the highest level in the building that we've seen. And I mean, the museum right here has a pretty high level as well. As he's just passing by, I have to give him a quick little dap, and his coach as well.
I'll call this the bias. I call this commentator bias. So we'll see if the commentator curse will pop in.
I'm sorry. I have to be very, very proud of my my players that I work with, that Jelte work with. And let's actually take a look at, because of all these beautiful goals that he scored, who is actually done with it.
I think the team is there, ready to see.
As we see Johan Cruyff, like I mentioned earlier, which was a very, very tough one, as we're just switching headsets once again when Brandon Smith, obviously we couldn't miss a Brandon Smith commentary with an FC Pro final. So about to lock in is...
Here we are.
Brandon. Yeah, there you are.
For a very different grand final that I don't think many would have expected, to be honest, though.
No, like I just mentioned to Hakeem as well, there is no chance that any of us, even within this community, the Dutch-Belgian... No, there's no one that predicted this final. However, that was given in the regular season, and probably still during the eDivisie finals when it came up. We didn't think that this would be the final. As some of the walk-ons are happening right now. Not sure if we can catch that, but Brandon, another fun fact.
Go on.
You know his coach, right? Jelte.
Yep.
And I'm just going to put it out there.
He's already won this year, hasn't he?
No, he didn't only win this year. So the past five leagues that he coached, it's been a while.
Okay.
He's won all of them. So it started with the E-Premier League.
Yep.
Then it went on for EMLS. Then it went on for eDivisie. Or sorry, not EMLS. It went on for eDivisie twice. It went on to EMLS. I was supposed to coach Paulo Neto actually last time, but I twisted my ankle very badly.
Okay.
Couldn't go. Jelte fell in.
Flew in there, got the title with him.
He's not
Young,
gonna change, is he? Yeah.
Young last week, grabbing that Portuguese title. Right now, he's in the final. He's about to win, potentially, together with his players, his 6th consecutive title in the league, also without even contending in one and not winning it. So, yeah.
Pretty good, isn't he?
I mean, great coach.
What's the secret for him, do you think?
I honestly can't tell you what the secret is behind the league story, because out of all those other results that happened in the past, it's been up and down, especially right now it's very much up. A couple of years ago it was very much down.
He's a very unique style of coaching though as well.
He is the most calm and friendly person. He's the calm and friendly giant that I've ever met, and probably others even have ever met. I think if you ask any other coach, especially from the Dutch community, they'll always say Jelte is the most nice guy. Would never even hurt any small insect. However, facing against Gio Bundy with Jens van der Vlier, I mean, I can't predict what is going to happen in this one. And I hope the streak continues for Jelte. I hope Chris will get his first one. But this final, we've seen crazy stuff happen already. It's of such high level, scoring 9 goals on one hand, 6 on the other. Brandon, what are we going to see in this final?
I mean, look, I'd love to say I can predict you what we're going to see in this grand final. Give us everything. Give us goals. Give us more than 17. Give us extra time and penalties. As we said, the big headline news is out. We know who's going to the eChampions League. We know who's going to the FC Pro World Championships later on this year. But this will be a match of FC 25 worth €20,000 and a chance for one of these two players and their clubs to lift that eDivisie trophy, the KPN eDivisie, which neither of these two players have done before. Neither of these two clubs have been able to do in the history since 2017. What an opportunity. I mean, what a different road that these two players have had this season. And tonight, if the knockout games they've played, it's ridiculous.
Wait 1 second. Gio was actually singing the anthem of both Almere and Ajax together, I think. Like, he just mixed them. that was crazy.
I read somewhere that his second name or middle name was Ajax.
Yeah. Gio is not a... Well, I think he does support Almere, actually, because he lives there. But inside heart, feelings, wouldn't say which club it is, but I think you guys can add that up. However, 20K, like you said, on the line. And what is the difference, actually? Second place, 8K? 8,000 euros?
It's a big difference. It's a 12,000 jump, isn't it?
Yeah, this is not only have they both already collected their tickets and everything like that, but it's a trophy and 12,000 euros of difference between becoming second and nobody will ever talk about you again, especially if you...
It's mental, isn't it? One game of FC for 12,000 euros.
Exactly. And obviously, given the circumstances that Gio have already put us through with this back and forth going, I can tell that tension is going to build up, especially when we get to the latter stages. Let's hope, Brandon, that this will not be a blowout. Let's just give us goals, give us tension.
Well, this is it then for the 2025 season, the KPN eDivisie, the €50,000 competition as part of this FC Pro season. Will come down to this. Almere with Gio Bundy against AZ Alkmaar with Chris de Boer, for a chance to lift that trophy there and pick up €20,000 in the process. Please just give us a good grand final. It's all we want.
To end off this wonderful day here. Well, wonderful night, I should say, actually, at the Rijksmuseum, especially. The beautiful scenery, look at that. That is how you want to play that eDivisie final. Look at this. I mean, what do you... Whilst meanwhile, I just hear Gio complaining even before the game started. But if you just look at it as a player, as a coach, myself, being in this industry, it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scene right there. Well, as we started. Brandon, prediction.
No predictions from me.
Yeah.
You know what? Complete the fairy tale. Give it to Gio Bundy.
Yeah. I mean, why not? I'm just going to go with 4-5 to Chris.
You're going to go with what?
4-5
4-5. So you're going to give me a
Alkmaar
score.
just gonna get, are just gonna get the edge, I think, over Gio. But I think we will get a very exciting game. This regular season matchup actually ended up in the favor of Gio Bundy. 3-2 was the scoreline in his favor. So let's see if Chris can actually take revenge at the best time possible.
Well, then, as we said, this is the big one, the grand final for this year's eDivisie. Gio Bundy against Chris de Boer. And it will be Gio Bundy kicking in that red strip from left to right for Almere City. Quick corner comes in, Van der Sar called into action, not once but twice, probably 3 times.
Knocking on the door quickly there is Gio, as still is big chance there, but now on the counter, this is actually dangerous. Those corner kick counter attacks, we've seen it all season long, are very dangerous at the bottom there.
That post.
As Salah does get some space here.
Mohamed Salah trying to angle that into a Xavi, who isn't really going to be the player that you want to be shooting from that far away.
But does collect the ball there on the other end for Chris, who loses it straight away.
How does this game look for these two players? Because look, their biggest objectives this season, Renzo, is the World Championship. It's the eChampions League. I know there's a trophy and I know there's 20,000 euros, but you can't lie. So much pressure's been lifted off their shoulders.
I mean, this is maybe because you never know how next season is going to be. As Gio, what an attack there again. And we see that same combination from him, that same attacking sequence happening in the semi-final, which actually booked himself that spot in this grand final. Just with that quick passing in and around the box. However, like I said, this could be your only opportunity at a trophy. So, because you never know what's happening next season, what your level is at, are you even going to be competing?
Hang on a second.
That is a yellow, but that is a very dangerous looking free kick, Brandon.
I was going to say that. Surely this is a golden opportunity to score from this sort of range. Meerham's over there alongside Johan Cruyff and Ginola. Here's Meerham from the free kick.
And again, and I'm saying again because in the quarterfinal as well, there was this crucial moment, 2-1 scoreline, I think, where Talla actually got a free kick from really close against Chris de Boer. Van Dijk is taking it off the line.
4, 5, 6 shots coming in from Gio Bundy. He's not done yet, looking for a way through. Gio Bundy will score the first goal of this grand final.
As he's also right now, again, we see some frustration from Chris. I just heard, I can't do anything, but then again, it's Gio just knocking at the door, going at full pace right at him. Getting that first goal in, that is obviously huge for Gio. And, well, predicted it. There's going to be some goals in here. So, let's see. Everything to play for still. A lot of time, obviously. Lots of FC to be played still.
You can't argue, though, that he's not been knocking on the door, though, has he?
100%. Especially those corner kicks, the head-ons from Virgil van Dijk at the near post. It's always dangerous looking. He timed them green, so Gio's definitely feeling himself out there. And Chris de Boer, show us what you got, because, well, he's not been in this situation today. He's not been chasing the game, as you could call so, being down a goal.
Johan Cruyff times it red, and
is that
never going to be trouble in the goal.
Is that the difference? Timing green, timing red. Who's locked in, who's not?
He's only 15 minutes in. He's got time.
100%. But I see some differences right now in facial expressions from Chris.
I was going to ask what facial expressions you're seeing from Chris, because all I'm seeing is his hair right now.
Right now, yeah.
He's
typical.
So close to his monitor. But we can't even see his face.
And Gio right now as well, like he's not talking. Usually he's talking, complaining about everything, but he seems to be locked in right now, just keeping his mouth shut as he is working his way through. Caroline Graham Hansen being used.
There's the quick passes. There is Caroline Graham Hansen there. Will still have the ball at her feet. Meerham, scoop turn, wide.
Oh.
Not on target from Gio Bundy. What a chance that was.
How did he manage to get that wide? That is a huge chance, and well, for Gio Bundy speaking, hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt him later on in this game. As Chris de Boer here trying to build up, but doesn't really can get anything going right now.
Those that have just tuned in, this is our grand final for this year's KPN eDivisie. David Ginola looking for a second. It's Van der Sar that does enough to keep Chris de Boer in this one. You just saw their possession, 67% possession so far in the favour of Gio Bundy. He has been having everything in terms of chances, having most of the ball, and I mean, this pause is needed from Chris de Boer just to have a chat with his coach.
Yep. Yeah, obviously he was on the other end last game, and right now he seems to also been kind of saying the same things as Levy, and yeah, obviously don't want to put something out there, but it is definitely something to keep an eye out on. And Gio already being very upset the fact that he said just now that he's playing very well, but he should have already scored like 3 or 4 times. And obviously does realize with this pause taken from Chris that he should have been at least 2-0 up right now. Oh,
hang on a second, Ginola again, it's just non-stop from Gio Bundy, but he's got to make the most of this. He's got to score another one. Miham off the post.
Oh my. Chris is hanging on in this final, and how many times do you need to get saved by Gio actually himself sometimes, and also by the post, before you start realizing that you have to gear up?
How many times can you be saved, isn't it? It's the big question.
It's just nothing's clicking right now for Chris, is it?
If he doesn't make the most of this, Gio Bundy, as well, it will come back to bite him at some point.
Probably. As we see right here. Just tried to go for that Trivela finish. Could have maybe passed that one. The complaining just starting from Gio's side now as well. More frustrated probably because of the missed chances.
This sounds a bit crazy, Renzo, but if you're Chris de Boer right now, let's be honest, you've been absolutely peppered for the first 30 minutes of this game, and you're only 1-0 down. Surely, as much as that doesn't give you confidence, it does, because you could be in such a worse position in the grand final.
And he probably knows himself as well, deep inside, that he's not putting anything out there right now which is even close to, remotely close to his level. So if you can make this through the first half, go into halftime especially, maybe just 1 goal down, who knows what is going to happen. Gio is probably going to be in big trouble, I guess, in the second half. How many times have we actually seen this situation where in FC 25, where for just like 20, 30 in-game minutes, someone is playing exceptionally well, and then, well, based on the scoreline, the other guy can come back, or it's just sealed already.
Hang on a second, quick corner comes in, there's the flick on. Surprised he didn't go for an acrobatic effort there on his own. Chance to break now for Chris de Boer.
Johan Cruyff. Oh, tactical foul already. I mean, fair play to
Yellow
Gio.
card, it's a commitment. He's a mate there, Alphonso Davies.
Smart foul, I guess. Probably was a bit too worried about the overlapping players there. However, yeah, having your fullback on a yellow kind of early in the game still. Not always ideal, but was necessary, as he does collect the ball right there and potentially prevented a very dangerous attack from Chris. So very well done, Gio Bundy.
Alphonso Davies, he might have just got a booking, but he looks to be heavily involved in this attack, maybe to provide it. There's the finesse, wide! From Mia Hamm, how was she not hit that on target? And you've got to sit here and think,
why does he not have the finesse plus?
8, 9 chances.
Oh dear.
I can't wait to see the halftime stats here, I can't lie.
And Chris is just hanging in there.
He's still in the game, isn't he?
Oh yeah, if he scores 1-1 now, but nothing is clicking. You can just hear a bit of moaning as well from Chris, literally just trying to actually build on anything right now. Doesn't really look like it as of yet. However, like I said, if he can just make it into halftime, who knows what the turnaround can come from him in the second half. However, it's still Gio just knocking on that door consistently. Alphonso Davies does get a good interception there for Chris.
Final 5 minutes of this first half of our grand final. He's all Almeria City at the moment.
Yep. Every time Chris is about to cross the halfway line, he's just not finding the right pass. Straight into Almeria City's, well, just anyone's feet pretty much. This is a mistake from Gio there.
Hij past letterlijk naar een middenvelder.
Yeah. Just a couple of mistakes from both players there just before halftime. That's not ideal. Again, losing possession, not taking the last attack where I think the players might be overcooking a little bit right now in terms of nervosity.
Added time to follow now of just 1 minute.
There we
Chris
go.
the Boer might have the last chance of the half here.
This could be that moment.
He can go into half time in a 1-1 scenario. He very nearly did.
He had a lot of time there, actually.
Half time, if we can have a little look at these stats from over the shoulder of these players.
About 12 shots, I guess, for Gio. Maybe two. I mean, we tried to get a little eye on that, but didn't quite manage to do so as Gio is making substitutes, or at least taking a look at his formation. But look at these moments for Gio Bundy as the goal right here. I mean, it is a little fortunate, obviously getting the ball back twice, and yeah, then you just know Ginola is never going to miss from there. But however, Mia Hamm, she missed a couple times.
Look, I can appreciate people saying that that was a fortunate goal, but for the amount of times he's been knocking on the door, I mean, look, here's some of the biggest chances we saw from Gio Bundy in that first half, and moments that another day, Renzo, you simply have to score.
Yeah, I think this one especially, I was quite surprised that she put it wide, especially. I don't understand what happened there. It didn't really look aimed incorrectly, so I don't know what happened there, but then again, some of the chances were on finesse shots like this one from Mia Hamm, and I mean, yeah, if you have R9 there, you're counting that one 100%. But yeah, the last one that we saw before halftime was this one. And again, I mean, I'm banking on that if it's Thierry Henry or R9, but...
Well, let's jump back into the game. I hear we're in the live second half now.
Already in the 49th minute, actually. So we did miss a couple of seconds there, nothing to really be worried about, as no big chances happened there. So we are looking at Almeida again, building up an attack like they've been doing the entire first half. But now defended well by Chris. Let's see if he can get any passes going, but it's just sloppy again. And Pele here finds Hansen.
And the chance for Gio Bundy still.
Oh my. It is incredible what Edwin van der Sar, the posts, and Gio Bundy himself sometimes are doing for Chris right now and keeping this a 1-0 game. Salah does find a little bit of space there. Let's see. Chris de Boer.
As we said, the shocking part about us is that Chris de Boer is still so in this game. He might be on for an equaliser. Vinicius Junior!
Oh, well, and that was a wide open corner there on that left-hand side. But Vinicius Junior trying to go for that finesse. Great goalkeeper movement then maybe in the end from Gio Bundy. As we have that same situation right now where Gio took the tactical foul.
Good game, bro.
We just hear Gio shouting. I won't repeat that one or translate that.
He just wants that second goal to give him a bit more of an advantage here.
Yeah, especially given the circumstances. Already missed so many chances, and Chris is just slowly but surely building up on confidence as he gets a beautiful speed boost there with Vinicius. Doesn't quite manage to get that one off, and you can just see Chris struggling to find those passes, find the space, because every time there just seems to be an Almeria City defender.
30 minutes away from lifting the eDivisie and picking up €20,000 is Gio Bundy.
R9 here.
Almeria City giving them the best run they've ever had in an eDivisie, however.
Theo Hernandez there just bullying off Salah with that Bruiser Plus playstyle, obviously. And I think Gio is like the only one using Theo Hernandez still in this KPN eDivisie finals. However, Pele right here bursting through on the left-hand side of Chris.
He's got around the goalie, but still Van der Sar has done enough.
So many chances, Gio Bundy. Oh, he will never...
All it takes is one, is the onside. Offside just there, Chris de Boer. The game could honestly just change in one moment like that.
That was just a split second off, whereas Cruyff should have given that ball first time, I guess. But Chris de Boer, can he find some heat?
Oh, what a chance, R9, all the time in the world to tie the game up!
And out of nowhere, that's
the ball. Has just tied this one up, and let's be honest, he hasn't deserved it by any means.
Oh, how is this game tied, Brandon? Gio Bundy has gotten not one, maybe 2 dozen of chances already at this point, and not chances, like actual 90% plus chances. And we're looking at a 1-1 scoreline. That is incredible, Chris de Boer. And right now, you're caught in between 2 faults as Gio Bundy. Obviously, you're being very disappointed right now. You just can't deny that that's happening. Of all those chances that you missed. Right now, are you going to change something? Well, at least maybe sub out Mia Hamm if it was me.
You would?
Yeah, I mean,
even though Mia Hamm's been clutch in so many moments.
No, she's just not there. She's not there. He's probably still got R9 on his bench, right? Because he's not playing. He's got Henry. Bring them out. You have to do something. It's not like you're playing, like you probably can do the same with R9 right now. You're playing fantastic. Just need that guy that can finish. Or is Chris de Boer just going to take over from now on? As we see, Davies, Pele.
Surely not. Surely not, Chris de Boer! Just wide!
Timed it green. Ball roll. Pele on the finesse. Just wide. And I think Gio deserves that one. That little bit of luck there to maybe have that one go wide. As Chris de Boer can't complain about any chances missed in this game.
Suddenly, Lorenzo, you're so against the run of play. You get one goal and this game completely changes.
Yeah,
Look at the confidence now on the other side for Chris de Boer to get forward and be a bit more expressive.
He doesn't give it.
A crossing moment there. Mohamed Salah looking to go all the way across, and fortunately Buffon's there to give Gio Bundy possession again.
His brother there just putting his hair back with his hands from stress, nervousness, whatever it is. And I mean, this game is just so tense right now. It probably shouldn't have been. That's the thing. That's Vinicius. Gio Bundy. We've got a chance right here, Brandon.
Gio Bundy just needs to choose the right passing lane. Referee! No penalty there. He says that Lucio won the ball fair and square.
I think so. That was the right call from the referee. Not that type of person that usually does agree with referees, but I think that one was a good call. Actually not interfering with the play there.
One tiny different there in the animation of the tackle. It could have been a different story.
100%. As Almere
pause is still being accused by Almere.
Still want to change something, as looked like he added up some pressure. However,
Pele, come back, still! Is it in? Eventually, somehow it goes in! Then he will not care, because he'll feel like that's rightly deserved. And who's got it?
yeah. I mean, Gio Bundy, that's why you are in that seat, and I'm probably not. However, she still missed it initially.
You've got to see that go in the replay. It's hit the post, it's come off the goalkeeper, and then somehow it's been bundled in eventually.
Crazy game we have, and I was about to mention it. It looked like, well, let's see right here. Was it actually? Yeah, she did miss it in the
It's just a tackle on
The
Virgil.
finish there. Virgil van Dijk just literally kicked the ball against Mia Hamm.
Pretty much, yeah. So, arguably, Mia Hamm, she could have been substituted. So let's see if he does. So he did cue a pause up. However, it looked like for a second there, after the 1-1 scoreline, Gio actually put on 95 depth, which did put a lot of pressure. We saw at some point where Chris de Boer was in possession. All of his fullbacks and right and left midfielders were adding pressure on Chris de Boer's back line. That did pay off there for a second because Chris did lose the ball.
And look, if you've just chosen you're seeing that as potentially a match winner, you're questioning the type of goal that is. Wind this game back to the start. Gio Bundy deserves that. And probably 2-3 more of them.
100% he does deserve it. And yeah, just to be honest, right now, Chris doesn't deserve to win this game. It's just as it stands. But that doesn't mean he's not going to. However, that was a bit of a loose pass there. Wasn't intended for that person, I don't think so.
10 minutes away, Gio Bundy. He said to you earlier, Renzo, he was thinking about retiring.
He was retiring. He promised me. There's no way.
If he lost his quarterfinal today, he said to you, Renzo, that he was going to retire. Is that correct?
100%. He even said, because when I suggested, oh, so what happens if you make eChampions League and World Championship? Yeah, I'll still retire. It's not going to happen anyway. I'll still retire, I promise you. Well, Gio Bundy, I bet we'll see you next season.
I think he's gone many, many, many steps better than he expected. eChampions League tick, World Championships tick. 7 minutes away from an eDivisie championship and €20,000.
And that would be crazy. Gio Bundy, actually, first time I met him, it was during a talent show. There was Next eTalent. It was produced by our very own Team Gullit, where we were looking for talent. However, not that far yet. As he's not a champion yet, just yet. It's still everything to play for.
But now, Mia Hamm could conclude the game now, and she got the legs to pull away from.
He actually signed up for the talent show, and that's how we met him. Got a contract at some point at Team Gullit as well for winning that, and yeah, had to leave. But now coming back in old-fashioned there, Gio Bundy just not unsurprising, as surprising as possible. But 88 minute. What is happening? Chris de Boer, do you have something still in your pockets to change this game as he wins possession there? Brandon.
2 minutes away.
Is it happening? Are we going to see extra time?
Are we in for an equaliser? Chris de Boer, it's over to you, my friend. It has to be perfect now if you want to go into an extra time period on defence. 1 minute left, plus additional time. He gives possession away.
That is
not
smart. That is not smart.
Clever foul.
Gio Bundy, didn't you learn of Brent? Didn't you learn what you did to Brent? How many additional minutes are we getting? I'm guessing 2, but it's not going to be much more. 1 extra minute, one last attack.
Of just 1 minute left now, 20 seconds away from Gio Bundy becoming this year's eDivisie champion. And there's Chris de Boer's got other ideas, and in time has been played! Gio Bundy is your eDivisie champion! He just got better and better as the competition went on. He's off to an eChampions League, an FC Pro World Championship. And his pockets will be full because he's just picked up €20,000 in the process. Hang on.
Oh my God, they're not playing. Chris just got the ball.
The game didn't even finish.
Chris just got the ball, literally, and it wasn't a straightaway full-blown whistle. Imagine that, what could have happened. Imagine what could have happened. The full-time whistle didn't even blow. Not even after Chris got the ball.
Chris de Boer is in tears because he's just lost the biggest game of his FC Pro career. But he could have actually maybe made the most of that.
Oh
no.
What a crazy last 25 in-game seconds there.
I should probably not tell Jelte and Chris this.
Yeah, maybe don't.
Ever. So can we please just all agree that we cut this clip from...
Or maybe we can.
Well,
Look.
Gio Bundy, I mean...
A man who's been here before and done it. Ali Rizarega, once upon a time of PSV, represented them this time round, will hand over the trophy to this year's KPN eDivisie champion!
Gio Bundy. And congratulations, my friend. That is special.
City.
26 years of age. We're not going to see that much more often happening.
What a season that man is having. Almere City, with their pro player Gio Bundy. Their season's only just started. They've got an eChampions League to prepare for in a few weeks' time, let alone an FC Pro World Championship. He's been building to this as well, by the way. 3 years in a row. He's in the top 4 last year, top 4 the year before that. This year, rip up the script here in the Netherlands because no one would have predicted what we've seen here tonight in Amsterdam. We knew that Manu Bashore went to the Premier League. We knew that Emre Yilmaz went to La Liga. PSG not playing this year. We thought there could be a few different stories, Renzo. But how this whole season's unfolded, the players that are going to the European competition, the players that are going to the World Champs it's just mental.
I just have to be honest. There is no crazier finals than the eDivisie finals. Remember last year?
Always passionate.
Remember the one
always
before?
Crazy.
They're always crazy, and nothing happens like we imagine. I don't know, but I can only say fair play to Gio. He's probably one of the hardest working players out there. Grinds his butt off. I have to say, like, he deserves it. 26 years of age, still lifting a trophy. I'm envious of him right now. Like, I respect it so much because back when I was competing for my last year or so, I was 28 and I thought it's not going to happen anymore. And
especially when you look around you and you've got 16, 17, 18-year-old players coming through.
Exactly. Like, he's playing literally one of the most talented players right now in the Netherlands. Incredible performance. And I think a lot of people will agree in the same area that I'm in right now, that nobody else deserves it more than Gio. Yeah,
absolutely. A massive congratulations, Gio Bundy, this year's KPN eDivisie champion. Just as someone in the chat saying that play until the whistle goes in the game.
Oh, no. We're just not going to talk about it anymore.
And I have to say, I mean, look, I absolutely, you're right, because there was nearly a terrible moment at the ending. Final words from us here on our English broadcast today. Hakeem, a.k.a. Mr. Dory, what a job he's done today. Thank you, Hakeem, for your support. I know he's currently with the champion at the moment, I'm sure. Renzo, final words from you, my friend, because we've got an early morning tomorrow. We're both going to the La Liga FC Pro, which is live tomorrow on this same page.
Yeah.
What a night here in Amsterdam.
100%, yeah. Just another thank you, obviously, to everyone here and supporting this esports scene. It's been a great one as well in the Rijksmuseum. I have to be, like, just completely in shock, honestly, if I have to express my feelings right. I did never see this coming if we start the day. I remember myself saying that, yeah.
I don't know if we were
an Ajax final.
I mean, I don't think anyone wants to see this one as potentially the winning goal, but that was the goal
that
won the game. Watch the last 76 minutes before that goal, though, and you'll understand why it was justified.
Yeah,
from
literally.
Gio Bundy. As we said, that was the winning goal. The winning moment was so special. We've enjoyed chatting with you all tonight on the Twitch and YouTube feeds for those that have tuned into this EA Sports FC broadcast. Upgrades have happened for a handful of players. Van der Boomen of Ajax, he did get an upgrade to a 92 rated. Martins Indy and Oazy Alkmaar lost the grand final. He got an upgrade to a 92 as well. But all that's left to say is from myself, Brandon Smith, from Renzo, Hakeem, everyone involved here at the KPN eDivisie. Thank you so much for watching. Congratulations to Gio Bundy of Almere City. He's off to a World Championship, and we'll be back again live here tomorrow for the La Liga FC Programme Finals. We'll see you then.
Prediction
Good night.
for that?
You'll wait. You'll have to get it tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Thanks for watching.
See you. Thank you.